Late Night Grin. Also, what does that name mean?
We're here, folks, 1 hour earlier than we have been. I mean, honestly, we haven't really been in our usual slot most of this last few months, but that feels less exciting than just going 1 hour earlier. Same place, different time. Late Night Grin is back. On Tuesday, we had a house show run through of this. And we announced a new intent, a new working house style. A little looser, you know. We're in a good spot. We're fired up. Tonight we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. You guys are going to be a big part of that too. Guiding us throughout the night. Expert panel as always. Buster, how are you, brother?
I'm good. Trying to relax before my life is hell for the next couple weeks. But I'm chilling. How are you, Joe?
Yes, sir. I'm good, mate. Appreciate you asking. Thank you, Dukes. Dude, he's all in on Supergirl.
Is he?
He bought the book after seeing the picture. Yeah, he said
My
he
God.
understand it better. I wasn't talking him visually, but I'd imagine he did this with his hands when he talked about it too. Nonetheless, Donnie, how are you?
I'm good. Working retail during a holiday weekend is very stressful, so that sucks. But I just finished watching Jackass 2, which is fun. Terror Taxi is sincerely one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Only next to Joe Holbert trying to kill a fly yesterday. The only thing that has ever come close.
Okay. I did actually kill the other fly, though.
You did. That's what I'm saying, though. But what made it funny is you did like a Duke's up stance. You're ready.
But I got him. Donnie, didn't I?
You clipped its wing, the other one. You clipped its wing. This one you got. But we're good. I got to be honest. I realized how excited I was for this show when I was thinking about it more throughout the day. I went, I've watched a lot of wrestling this year. And
You have.
talk about it.
You have, and I do think with these topics, it's like when you go kind of big picture, there is actually a lot more going on than it might seem when you're in a sort of week to week bloody boring at the minute. And you actually retest it out, like, actually is a lot going on. It's just, I think with the news cycle now, it's hard to fully appreciate that. And it's like we're all kind of just living headline to headline. I mean, I saw in the hour before we went live, I don't even know who Worked Wrestling is, but it's a platform, so credit to them. And they said, like, reportedly there's a power struggle between the top guys in WWE. And I was like, yeah. It was just funny. Like, I don't know. It's, every day there's like a new mini story, and then people react to it like it's a news story. And so as a result, it can be hard sometimes to have perspective on these things and kind of where we've gone in 6 months of 2026. Now, we're going to go in all sorts of directions here. And again, we want you guys to be involved in the chat. I do want to quickly call out our guy, Darren. We've lost his membership message. We haven't lost it. YouTube has lost it. I believe it said something about Fatal Influence good, which agreed.
And I believe it said something about Kendall Gray good too, which we agree.
True. Yeah. So, thank you, Darren, for being a member. It just does this sometimes. It just loses messages. It
did it to Kale, too, because he upgraded to the Colliders tier yesterday by accident. So shout out Kale, who I think is in here for upgrading.
He wasn't there before?
Finally, he can moderate properly.
Yeah.
It said upgraded, but he thought that he accidentally put that in this stream. He meant to do it for the collision stream yesterday.
I think it just does that, though. I think it updates on this. But it has to be said, Buster, what do we pay Cal for in that case?
Yeah, it's like an entire, list of shows that you just can't moderate on. What the fuck's that about?
We pay him so handsomely, too, for the moderation tools. So, thank you to our great moderator, Cal. Don't have an accent. A super chat said, "What gets a Wrestling Observer rating first? Mercedes Meyer or the Neo Global Tag League final?" So legit, I don't want to get too much into this, especially on YouTube. But I don't think he's rating either of them.
Yeah,
I don't either.
He said in the specific rating he had this today was, "I may rewatch it." Mate.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, they'll forget about it eventually. Fuck this." But yeah, I don't know. To be completely honest, I have a million opinions on this that I'm just going to leave it be because, not every strong feeling needs to be shared. You know what I mean?
No.
All I know is I watched Collision last night. Apparently, had 3 4-star plus matches. So I'm glad he enjoyed it. Thank you, Don't Have an App. He would really like that Noah match, though, wouldn't he?
He would.
He would. I don't know.
I'm going to
how it went
go
over his desk.
If he comes over to London for Wembley, I'm going to approach him with like a physical disc with the.
He's gonna lose it in his office.
I go up to him, I shake his hand, I pull him in tight, I slot it in his pocket and just go, "Get back to me." At Joe Holbert on Twitter, "Get back to me, Dave."
Watches every other match on the show but the main event.
He fucking tweets, "Really digging this Inamura tag."
You're like, fuck, that's not what I wanted.
Oh my god, someone who's a good editor should actually do this. Like, remember people used to do Dark Side of the Ring parodies all the time? Imagine using the Dave footage and mashing out with voiceover. It's like, it just wasn't as hot in the building. I love that. Absolutely love that. Folks, please do like the stream as you file on in. Dude, this game was crazy.
I didn't see it.
That's one of
I
the
heard about
all-time.
it.
It's one of the all-time great sporting games I think I've ever seen. That was just beautiful. Is what it was. The beautiful game. That Martinez save at the end was fucking outrageous, dude.
What a great World Cup it's been. I haven't watched it closely, but what I've seen, it's been just a wonderful event.
It has been quite good.
Best tournament in the world, dude.
It's a very special thing, and it's genuinely a cool thing. Like, no matter how much in the time between, stuff will be announced and things will happen we don't get into that you'll go like, it kind of takes the shine off it or it sullies it, but like then it still comes around and it becomes magical all over again. It's the World Cup, dude. Yeah. It's like
every 4 years, man.
It's a special thing. I look forward to us winning it one day here at the Late Night Grim. We can end it, right? That's how it works.
I think so.
We'd have to ask Zlatan about that. I think he runs the commission.
Novi up front. Dude, did you see his cameo last night, Buster?
He did tell me that he went in there, but I don't think
he came in at the end of the stream and just like yelled a bunch of them, went like, "Oh God, no," and left, and we were all like, "Oh wow, interesting." Also, Caden Lee declared he was the host and then forgot he was supposed to be hosting 15 minutes in. So one of those nights.
Forgot 5 super chats at the end of the show, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Vontel. World Cup has been awesome. Jason, OG Grinner, dude, long time
22 months.
Grinner. But I'm talking, Donnie. I'm talking. Jason's been a Grinner since you were in school, bro. I'm talking.
Shit, that's been a while, bro. I dropped out 3 years ago now.
he really will. I mean, I think Jason's been with me since day one. He could tell us in the chat. I'm pretty sure, though. He's excited to see how much stuff I've already forgotten has happened this year. Me too. Me too, Jason. Appreciate you, bro. I hope you're well. Lambo, remember 22 months, another old school, long time Grinner. Got to meet KO. Oh, shit. Great American Bash.
Oh, yeah.
I did see this, the Waylon Mercy shirt. Someone said that to me. And Jurassic Park shoes that weren't tired. Like he didn't want to be there, beast behavior. I definitely can see how at that point in his life, at this point in his life, I should say, it's not the most enthralling sort of adventure, just hanging out at the Performance Center for a Great American Bash.
Yeah.
But I think that's also kind of his temperament, though. He's just kind of...
He's a low-key guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But at least he had a funny shirt on and some good shoes. I hope you enjoyed that.
I miss Kevin Owens.
Don't we all? I think no one misses him more than Triple H.
Fair.
Amari, member for 20 months, thoughts on the downfall of matchmaking the WWE for the past year and a half. I'm going to keep this started and we'll circle back to it. That's what I'm going to do. Thank you, Amari, for being a member, and we will head back in that direction shortly. I actually want us to start, if you guys don't mind, in the land of All Elite, if you will. One thing that I was really struck by when I was preparing for this program, it's easy to forget now because I think 2025 was like a rebound year for AEW, right? Because they had that like road to All In where they really caught fire.
Yeah.
Buster, one thing that really kind of had been lost on me until I prepared. Vibes were kind of down again at the end of last year. Remember, like, World's End and Max's title reign felt really like it didn't have a lot of juice going into it. considering that, would it be fair to say that has kind of smoothed out really nicely over the past 6 months? What do you think, Buster?
I think it's definitely smoothed over. I think the vibes got higher for how it was last year, for sure. The end of last year. Because at the end of last year, it just felt like it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't like, I wasn't super into it. There wasn't a lot of momentum, like you said, going into Max's title reign, but also just in general for the shows. And then I think Max getting the title, there was like an immediate direction where it was just like all these different guys trying to fight, vie for the world title. And it gave a real identity to the shows for the most part. And I think that for definitely the first, at least like 3 to 4 months of the year, really carried their product, I think, in a big way.
I would say January, it was like a little bit of a slow start. And then I would say February, March, April very much speaks to what yours. Because I remember the Bandito match feeling like, yeah, it's cool. Like it wasn't, what do you think, Donnie? It's been interesting. I do think it's somewhat lost to time, that somewhat shaky end to 2025. And generally, and we'll get into more of the weeds here, but generally, I do think 2026 has been a positive year for AEW. Would you agree, Donnie?
Yeah, and I think a large part of that, not to, start putting people over too high, but I think a lot of it is the perception change for Max as world champion, right? Because if you remember when he won the title the first time, obviously he was hot and he was a big deal, but there was that perception that they weren't really doing a lot with the world title scene. It didn't really feel alive when he won it the first time. And so I think the fact that not only has he rounded out to be a way better worker than he was 3 years ago, that's unquestionable. Now you're looking at a scene where it feels like AEW as a whole is more connected, because one of my biggest problems with it last year was it felt like everybody was kind of off in their own world. Like nobody was really interacting with one another. Yeah. Everyone was kind of off in separate branches, and you never really got that crossover. It felt like even if guys weren't directly feuding with each other, it all had to do with something, right? So like Brody King, for example, he was in the world title picture without having to directly be up against Max until it was time for him to wrestle for that title, right? But he was still in that picture. Say the same for Swerve, for Hangman, for Bandito, for Moxley even, who's Continental champion, but you always got to worry about John Will Ospreay, who just won the Owen. It felt like there was a general focus to make the world title feel, for lack of a better term, like the world title, right? And I think that's something that's become increasingly more difficult, especially because one thing AEW does do is guys wrestle on TV. The main event of next week's show is MJF and Kenny Omega for the world title. Like, that's fucking nuts. This was a match that we thought was going to happen at the end of the month on pay-per-view. And so it shows a shift in, I guess, Tony being what I would say is more gutsy with his booking. It felt like he was very reserved and safe last year. Obviously, he had Moxley at the start, Hangman, kind of guys that are more familiar, but it feels like he's entrusting his roster more with bigger spots, as opposed to just, all these guys are great wrestlers, we can have good matches on TV, no problem. Actually putting these guys in storylines where they could be focused on more as characters, in addition to complementing their wrestling in the ring.
I definitely agree. I do think the world title is doing a lot of the heavy lifting with that in that regard, but a lot of people are involved in the world title scene. The one thing I do think is interesting about perception is reality in the big picture. I actually think MJF has had better matches in years prior to 2026. I don't think this has been... Personally, I don't think it's been his best year at all in the ring, but he's felt more focused, which I think is why the response is better. Buster, what do you think?
Yeah, I think just like... There was obviously... I think Donnie kind of mentioned it, but there was not a stigma. I'm trying to think like the right word, but like... There was just a lot of people like, I really hope they can get a Max world title reign right this time, because the last time it was like a catastrophic event for a lot of people, like as fans of the product. It was kind of the first time that it got to a point where people were like, I think I'm going to just like stop watching for a bit. Right. It was like,
and in fairness, as much as Better Than You, Baby was divisive, that was really that last block of it, when it with the Jay White stuff and the Devil. Yeah, that's when it really, as you mentioned, that's when combined with Brawl In and all that stuff, people were kind of like, I'm done, dude. I've had enough. Right? That was the vibe for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your original question again?
I think it's interesting that as the perception of Max is more positive than ever. I actually don't know if he's had his best matches this year at all. To be honest, I think he's had a lot of good matches, very good matches.
Yeah, I think
Still feels like he has his best match to come this year for me.
what would be considered his best match of the year so far?
For me,
I think
it would
it's-
probably be Darby. What do you think? Glenn?
Yeah, I think it's Darby at Double or Nothing, personally.
If you
Although
think that,
that,
he's had some great matches in prior
that
years.
Mark
hasn't
Briscoe match on Wednesday was fucking great, dude.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's weird. If you would have asked me just blindly if I thought this was the best year of his career so far, I would say yes.
he? Yes.
But I don't know how much it would lean on the matches.
Yeah.
You're right.
Are you suggesting there's more to a great year than merely the spreadsheet sum?
I am. Yes. However, I am going to his cage match right now to remind myself of the matches he's had this year to
Yeah.
figure out what my favorite match of his is.
Well,
He had
like-
the Kevin Knight TV defense is good.
Mavs fan brings it
Yeah.
up in the chat. Like last year, which I think most of it was like a quiet MJF year, he has the Mystico match, which I think is better than any match he's had this year.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
In
Yeah.
2023, I know the Bryan match has become somewhat debatable. I personally think the Bryan match is incredible.
It's really good.
So, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting topic in terms of just. I think it reflects an editing process on the promo front that he probably lacked previously, right? So,
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's been a positive. I want us to kind of look elsewhere in that main event scene with AEW. Darby Allin, I think there's nothing left really to add, right? I mean, he's amazing. His title reign is one of the highlights of the year.
Yeah.
I think we've spoken about that at length, and that was, to me at this point, undeniably an inspired choice. I do wonder, because I think Kenny Omega's winning the belt on Wednesday, I do wonder if perhaps the right play actually was that alleged, reported multi-man at Double or Nothing and Kenny winning the belt in like a more of a holy shit, he actually won moment than what it does feel. It feels like we're threatening to do a title win with Kenny where it's kind of like, I mean, he has to win, right? The stip, which I don't love, and I do think there'd be something to be said for getting the belt on Kenny earlier so you could have a longer run to Wembley. Don't get me wrong, they're still at 7 weeks, but I don't know, does that make sense to you guys? Like, it does feel like
feels,
a little abrupt.
Yes, it feels like they didn't really have plans for Wembley until May. But even then, it's like
Yeah.
they had like, they had a framework, not
Concept
actual like
of a
set in
plan.
stone plans. Yeah, concepts of a plan. Yeah,
The thing is, I
And-
think they honestly had the plan. They wanted to do it this way, and I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I
Yeah, it
like
doesn't-
that, you know?
the way we got to this part of the build with Kenny winning the title, I assume,
Yep.
is not how I would have gone about it at all.
Well, let's talk about Will Ospreay, who, since he stepped away almost a year ago, everyone agreed on it. Everyone penciled it in. Okay, he's going to come back. He's going to win the belt at Wembley next year, right? I mean,
Yes.
that much was set in stone. That was a lock. That was inevitable. However, I don't know if anyone could have expected this to be the approach. Now, on this platform, I think there's generally been a less positive view on the Death Rider stuff, right? I don't think any of us are super high on it. I think it has its moments, but
I'm just like,
is it just muddying the waters for you, Buster? Fair to say.
yes, because like Will Ospreay winning the title at Wembley, I think like objectively is a good idea. Like you cannot
It's-
like his
yeah.
wrestling,
Yeah.
but it makes sense. But like this version of Will Ospreay winning the title, where like he's friends with these guys suck, like they're assholes.
They're bad guys, yeah.
Yeah, they're not good people. And like he's joining with them, but I'm supposed to be like rooting for him, kinda. I guess. Am I? I don't know.
Well,
So it makes the whole build and what I assume the match to be is just going to be like the people in the stadium are going to be there for him because obviously, but I'm just going to be like, I guess, like
right. So let's talk about we're getting close now to the point of no return in terms of like, it does feel very possible that Wembley Stadium closes with Ospreay on the Death Rider's shoulders.
yeah,
And I don't know how I feel about that. Now, if they are switching the belt on Wednesday, which unless they're going to do a draw, I think they're switching the belt on Wednesday. Is that their way of redeeming this in the sense that at Redemption, Moxley swoops in, has the match with Omega, and that is the end of the Moxley saga? Is Ospreay going to deal with Moxley there, and then it's going to be a matter of get all the distractions out of the way, we need to do this one-on-one? Or is it going to loom over the whole build? I mean, it's impossible for us to know, obviously, Donnie, but it does kind of feel like, to me anyway, there needs to be some kind of development in this next month or so, because otherwise I just don't know how I feel about a babyface title win with the Death Rider. I don't know.
It's weird because the way they're building it, it honestly feels like the bigger mountain that Ospreay's going to climb is overcoming this Death Rider's brainwash rather than him winning the world title. It feels like they're setting up for the true triumph of his return to be that he beats Jon Moxley, not that he wins the world title, which feels weird because Moxley himself hasn't really, like, he's been a top star, he's Jon Moxley, but he hasn't really done much of significance this year in the sense of he's just kind of done eliminator matches. He's had like continental title matches on pay-per-view, right, but he hasn't really, yes, he's in the storyline with Will Ospreay, but for a guy of Jon Moxley's star level, he hasn't really done anything of big note. I mean, he's coming off a world title run even. And it's weird because I honestly think post Double or Nothing, the company's been in kind of a weird spot because I think Double or Nothing was such a high. I mean, I remember coming out of the show and like how I felt coming out of it in person and then going on Twitter and reading all, and it felt like it was a new kind of turning of the page for them in the sense of people liked where they were going at the beginning of the year, but this felt like a chance to really elevate themselves to a higher set, to maybe a new boom, if you will, right, for lack of a better term.
A new era, even.
New era.
Radar era.
Oh, God. And it feels like they kind of didn't really know how to handle that momentum. It feels like everyone's just kind of in a weird spot. Like, we all assume Will's going to win, but also, like, we can't rule out the possibility that somehow he doesn't and Moxley fucks him over. Like, it's weird.
I can't shake the feeling that, and it does, and let's be clear, this angle certainly has a lot of support online. There's a lot of interest in it. It isn't, you know, we're just talking for us here. But to your point, I do think there is an element to the Death Riders part of this that is, let's make them doubt the obvious in terms of destination. And yes. I do wonder if, and this will all come down to execution because this will take a serious angle to work. I do kind of wonder if the idea is that Ospreay gets the triumphant win and they go full Naito Tokyo Dome and they kill him at Wembley Stadium.
That honestly, that's what I think they're going to do personally. I think, because to me, I think Mox is getting the program after Wembley anyway. Like, I think in some capacity, this is all building to a big Ospreay Mox match again, especially with the way that the Dynasty match concluded.
Which is a big program.
Right? Of course, no question. And I think they can have a way better match than they did at Dynasty. So, I mean, it's worth exploring, but I'm worried about how we're going to get there. And if the Ospreay title win is merely a backdrop to what they perceive as a bigger thing, which then also muddies the waters, like Buster mentioned, of a Kenny Omega title win that right now kind of feels forced almost, because we all want to see Kenny win the belt. It's a cool story, and obviously he's Kenny Omega, but you have to wonder, like, did they play their cards? Did they keep their cards too close to the vest? And did they make a mistake by not doing this earlier? Because he's going to win next week, right? So then you said they have 7 weeks till Wembley from next Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean,
something like that. Yeah. And so you wonder, like, he's going to get a redemption title defense in there. He may even get a TV title defense in there. But then you wonder, is it like, are you doing it like almost in a checklist kind of way? Like, okay, he's got the belt. We have to do this and this before we get there.
This is where wrestling in 2026 is a weird beast, though, because while none of us are high on it, we are literally, the conversation right now is interesting in the sense that none of us really know what's happening here. And
so it's working in some level.
Certainly there's negative elements there, and that sometimes I do think the right way is the straight and direct way. But still, like, there is an element of, it does add, I suppose, an element of doubt and intrigue to what otherwise did feel like an obvious, you know, Will beats Big Bad at Wembley. They're clearly not doing that part of it to me anyway. Like, how would you feel about that? They tease you a happy ending, and he fucking takes away from it. It would be bold if nothing else. What do you reckon?
It would be bold, but do you mean like they tease the happy ending and that he doesn't win the title?
No, I think he has to win. Okay. I mean, you know how Naito, when he finally won the strap at the Tokyo Dome, Kenta attacked him? I mean that, and the idea of the fairy tale ending, you get him so close that no one's going to be mad, and then you do an angle that, in theory, would be a serious hook for your fall. Now, I'm not even saying I'm in love with it, but I do think it's worth... Every All-In's ended in triumph and rainbows, you know? It can't go that way every year.
I agree. For me, I don't mind the ending, other than the fact that it makes Will Ospreay look like a fucking idiot.
True.
Yes. They flew too close to the sun here.
I do think that's the part of it that's going to be hard to overcome regardless, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's why I think we're all down on it.
It feels like at this point we're kind of past that, and like he's just kind of an idiot, so we got to
'Cause the
go
thing-
along with it. But
they're
he's
gonna-
our idiot.
They're gonna turn on him eventually anyway, right? So he's either gonna look like an idiot now or later.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I guess if you wanna, make the most of him looking like an idiot, you do want to make him look like an idiot in the biggest stage possible, and like make it be in like,
I
the most
guess,
important moment
yeah.
of the whole story. You know?
I definitely think there's value to, and this is a little more meta than I would intend, but I think the AEW audience likes Jon Moxley, so it wouldn't be like full on, this would be bad, right, guys? But
Yeah.
I do think there is value to scaring people with like, oh my god, Moxley's going to beat Ospreay. I do think there's value to that. Like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
like for sure. Like doing it, that being the result of a beatdown at All In, that is a good thing. I think like that
yeah.
should be the feeling going into wherever they wrestle Dream, whatever.
hmm
But the like, you'd have to do a lot of work to get there. I think
Yeah.
you'd have to do a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm personally starting to wonder if Jon Moxley is going to be the final Continental Champion.
Yeah.
I'm
hope
wondering
so.
if this results in some sort of unification, because I listen, I'm not like a huge too many belts discourse guy, but I mean, come on, the Continental belt and
It's a
the
prop.
International is like, it's
Gotten to a
yeah.
point where I actively don't know how many titles they have at any given moment or who is the champion of a certain.
Yeah,
you know.
I fuck it up all the time, and I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, I'm a dumb fuck, but I also do wrestling podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at this current moment, Mark Davis is not the TNT champion; he's the national.
He's the national.
Yeah,
He's
that's
the
what I got
TNT
wrong. Remember, and
champion.
Caden got mad at me.
TNT champion
Yeah.
is Kevin Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting one. We'll see. I'll say this for whatever it's worth. While I do think there was value to just going completely direct, Will beats the bad guy at Wembley, I think Will and Kenny is a very understandable pivot,
Mhm.
considering where they're
Yes.
at ticket-wise. It's a huge match. They wrestled in Tokyo. They wrestled in Canada. They wrestled in England. Like, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool, right? For
And
their
how many more
story.
big Kenny
So,
Omega main events can we count on? You know,
Right,
He's got a
and-
lot more years behind him than in front of him.
His first and only Wembley appearance was like probably the biggest miss of that show, where he had a
Yeah.
6-man tag for some reason.
Main
Um,
matches.
I don't remember that.
So-
match
I am
being
excited
good.
for the match. Like
yes,
Yes.
which is
very much so.
in AEW is a big part of the battle, right? I mean,
Yeah.
undeniably. So I think we'll see how they get there. I want to talk about a couple of things, and I'm going to circle back to cross over to the women's division. This is one story, and we'll be very brief on this, because I don't need to get into the details of it, because I don't really know what we can add to the conversation, but it has to be said. Hangman Adam Page has now been gone for almost 4 months, and I don't mean to pry, I don't know where the fellow is, you know what I mean? But it is legitimately crazy that in a week we'll be a year since that moment in Texas.
Yeah.
And you were there, Buster. And I don't even know what my takeaway or conclusion is here. Other than it is insane that he has been gone that long, and it does feel like almost a non-story that he's just off the TV.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
I agree with you in the fact that like I don't really know if I have a take other than the whole situation's very bizarre, because like if you just wanted to take time off, fine, that's whatever.
Yeah,
If
it's
that's the
business,
actual
yeah.
story, for sure, whatever. But the fan reaction to that being as like
Lukewarm.
yeah, just kind of like whatever.
Right. And he's going to get a
Is-
huge reaction when he comes back, isn't he? But
yeah.
it's like, it doesn't feel like there's this looming absence.
No
at all.
one's anticipating it. No one's
Certainly
like,
not online, no.
No, yeah. No one's like actively. I think there's been more anticipation for a Jay White return than there has a Hangman return.
Yes.
It's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, it was
Given
like it's
where
a
we
year
were
ago.
a year ago, yeah. We were like a year ago, Hangman was probably like top 2 favorite wrestlers for me at the time.
Yeah.
I don't like it's not that I don't have a desire to watch him wrestle.
No,
I just,
he has
like, if
great
he's
matches,
there-
but yeah.
He's
And
there.
this is certainly part of it. Like, I think there's just the truth to, like, they have so many top guys that inherently it's like next man up and everyone just kind of. But this one it does feel like an extreme example just because it was, you know, he closed their WrestleMania last year. He
Yeah.
killed the big evil faction, and it's like
He revealed the title again. Like
it doesn't feel like a lock he's on Wembley.
no, it doesn't. I would
presume
almost
he
go to
is,
say
but
If he's around,
in what? Like a gauntlet, I guess? return?
I guess can he do the gauntlet though because
That's the thing.
he's banned from the title match, right? So
So then, like in the next
yeah, I don't
7
know.
weeks, he has to return, start a story, have a match it.
Wow.
odd. It's just
Yeah.
again, I know
It
it's
feels
easy
more
to,
like a
yeah,
post All In situation to me.
or like maybe he shows up at All In to do an angle or something like that.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe
All In
interesting.
angle, match it all out, just do something quick like that. I don't know.
I am interested to see what they do with him because the stip it can be intriguing if he has a specific direction, right? But
Yes.
as of right now,
And, like,
we're unclear where he's going to be.
If the cycle repeats itself and the fans are clamoring for another world title run from Hangman Adam Page,
Mhm.
I do think that it is it's an interesting story how they even get around this step,
Yeah,
because you can do it where like he earns his way back, or you can do it where he's just like a fucking conniving
mm-hmm.
piece of shit. Like,
Well, the other issue is
betrays it.
that the natural thing for him to do upon returning is to go after Max, right? Because Max
Mhm.
killed him and killed his dream. But
Do you want to retread that again this soon?
I mean, yeah, I think they had a great match a year ago at Revolution 2025. But
Mhm.
after the match they had at Revolution this year, I don't know if they can wrestle again for a long time. That match was they can't.
lot.
What else could they do after that match?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have a
I do
scaffold.
think I think it would be an interesting like a mid card run for him would be kind of cool, like TNT title, whatever you know.
That's my big thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
My-
him having a match with Kevin Knight would be cool. I'd love to see that.
That'd be great.
He has a ton of great matches from him. I mean, my big idea for him was to almost do what Shinsuke did with the IC strap and like,
Yeah,
I can't have that belt. That's been taken from me. Over my dead body, so I'm going to take this one from me. And he
Yeah.
can make a belt his own. And they certainly have the talent pool to have the matches for that, don't
Yeah.
they? So
for sure. Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting direction. A couple other quick notes on the men's side of things. Ciampa, we don't need to stay on this too long because we have a lot to get into, but Ciampa has been a story because he has kind of emerged as a player in AEW. I think they have got to be careful because that feels like less of a story each week, but such is the Chris Jericho experience. Strange year in the tag division where it's now more than ever because of the releases. It does feel like they're kind of just waiting for stuff to happen. We'll see what comes of that. Swerve Strickland in a year where he's creatively been kind of puzzling and some of his personality and character stuff has been odd, has probably actually had an improvement in terms of in-ring, which is funny. I know the match on Sunday was divisive. I actually think most of his stuff as a heel has been really good in the ring, which is probably gone under the radar, right? Because people are debating, like, what's he doing? What's his usage? What's his character? Whatever.
I haven't been like super in on the in-ring stuff, but I also haven't like outside of Sunday. I haven't actively been.
The Brody King match at Revolution was very
It's
good.
good. I liked it. Yeah,
I think being a heel helps him a lot because he has an edge. Doesn't he?
he's
Have
better as a
ministry.
heel. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And the final film I want to talk about with the men, just very briefly here. I still need some convincing on the Don Callis family being a net positive. I gotta say,
Yeah,
I got real annoyed about that yesterday, dude. I was never one of those people that was like putting Kevin Knight in it as career suicide because Kevin Knight's gonna be fine, but I do think that they have certainly cooled off a lot of the momentum that he had by just parking him as Don Callis family member number 17 or whatever he is now, and it's just I don't know. He'll be fine, but while it's actively happening, it is annoying me.
it just takes away his individual kind of element, right, Buster?
Yeah, I don't fundamentally I don't understand the decision because like he can talk, he's got an insane look, and like he knows how to be an asshole.
Yeah,
I saw it with my eyes. I did. He did it by himself for a week, I think. So like, it just there's no real like.
To be honest.
he doesn't feel like he
there a-
needs it, really, does
No, at all. It feels just entirely unnecessary, and like he does nothing but makes him.
he
less
could have
fun
been
to
a
watch.
he could have been a way to really transform the Syndicate's current usage. Like,
Yeah,
if you just reframe the Syndicate as like they're his guys and they protect Kevin Knight, like oh my god, he could have got some crazy heat because I think people like the Syndicate and they'd have been like, fuck that. Why are these guys backing up Kevin Knight? You know,
Yeah.
like imagine they did an angle and Darby's fucking chasing after Kevin Knight and then Lashley just flat. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
just-
Can you
Darby and
imagine
Lashley.
Lashley? Yeah, I was gonna say, could you imagine that for 8
Shelton
minutes
and
on
Darby.
TV?
Like, so I don't know. I think there was an opportunity to do something more creative. I agree with Donnie. He's going to be fine. I don't know. I don't know if it's been the best follow up. I do think with Andrade in the end, it actually has worked fine because he got out early enough, right? And
Yes.
Yeah.
they've got some momentum behind him.
He
as a
got out at the
babyface,
right
so-
time, I think.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not here to tell you that I think it's like this disastrous thing there, but I do think. I don't know if there's a ton of evidence that it's like a huge positive with how many heels it clogs up. Like I look at even someone, like even Kyle. Like Kyle's doing good, but it does feel like there's so much humanity in that particular setting. It's just, but nonetheless, listen on Big
Reimagined.
Show. We had a million opinions on Okada and Takeshita's build. When it came down to it in the ring, the people were just like fucking
The match
losing
is
it,
fucking
right?
awesome.
I was there, dude.
Yeah.
My ears are still ringing from that shit.
It was so over. So you do have to kind of let these things play out legitimately sometimes. I want to talk about the women's division. After Tony Storm was off television and then Willow got hurt and Mercedes was already off television, I legitimately think it reached lows it hadn't reached in years. And then with the Owen, it actually feels like it's gotten up to like highs they didn't have since like last summer.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
kind of one extreme to the other, Donnie, right? In that regard.
Yeah, it's cool because again, like you said, maybe the three biggest stars in the division were all out at the same time, and that's like, I mean, to the benefit of the doubt, that's never happened to them before. But also, it felt like they took that as an excuse to say, all right, we're just not going to do anything with anybody now. Fuck it, we're gonna half-ass it. But like you said, the Owen, and I think the beautiful thing about the Owen is pretty much all of it was a complete accident. Like none of it was supposed to happen, and it was all the circumstances. Obviously, Maya World's inclusion was off a really terrible tragedy, and hopefully she's only continuing to get better every day and coping with that. But look at what that created, right? This really heartfelt underdog story of somebody chasing a dream, and then ultimately that dream has to go through her idol. And to see the match that they had on Sunday, and we weren't there, right? But Buster, you were on the show to hear those people, right? When Maya was making that comeback and she was getting those near falls, it was like, I mean, that's what wrestling is, dude. This idea of belief and hope and getting people to care about your cause and your fight, that stuff is what is magical. And I think if the number one thing this has proven, and we all know this, everyone in the chat knows this, anybody that doesn't is clearly, they have their own reasons. Mercedes Moné is maybe the most important wrestler in the world. Like, her impact immediately upon returning is like unbelievable, dude. Just look at the difference in the presentation of the division when she was gone versus now.
I agree. I will say, and it's for no fault of her own, I do hope this is something that sustains past the Owen, though.
Of course, yes, of course.
Because it's one thing where you can just get out of the way and just have the match, but the builds and stuff has been an issue in the past. So, but
of course.
she's been a huge benefit in the tournament because the tournament match quality went up like obviously immensely, and they've got Athena involved too.
Yeah,
which is helped for sure.
And listen, this is gonna sound like it, but Tekla has helped a lot. She brings great personality. She's had probably her best in-ring year that I've seen of hers, and she had a fucking awesome match on Sunday. And it helps that she's so much more unique than literally anybody else in the division. So you have that duality, right? Where not everyone is cookie cutter, not everybody's the same. So you can play with these different personalities and characters and create different types of feels and atmospheres. And so I'm interested to see where they go from that. Obviously, there's a really big potential that Willow's coming back next Wednesday, which would be great. Whatever ends up happening with her, Tekla, Mercedes, where they go. Right. Obviously, we have the Sheeta thing that just happened. She won the TBS title. So there's at least things that we can talk about that are interesting, which 4 months ago, we had nothing.
Yeah, I must admit, I know people are into the Sheeta code, so I wish they went a fresh direction with the TBS. I really would have liked seeing Queen Aminata grab that. Something for Persephone. Buster, what was you going to say? And I did want to ask you, do you think we're going freeway at Wembley with Tekla, Mercedes, Willow, or is Tekla losing the belt and getting out of the picture? What do you think?
I hope Tekla gets the moment at Wembley to be able to come out as champ. Right, I hope so, because I think like throughout the year when everyone's been getting injured or going out, her like Tony just picking her and being like, I'm gonna make this work. Like she's going to be the champion for
More
a
of
prolonged
that,
amount of
please.
time.
Yeah, more of
Yes,
that.
like he found somebody and he was like, let's figure this out. Let's actually make this happen. And he did. She's really fucking good. She's made for American television, and she's had really good fucking matches throughout the entire year. So like that being like they haven't always had, super in-depth builds going into her matches, but she's been a reliable, source of, she'll have a good promo on tape every week, or she'll have a good match. She's like a presence of the women's division, consistent along every show. She's really fucking good. I'm really glad she's here. But as far as the three-way, I think she deserves to have, the champion entrance at Wembley. I think that's like
Okay.
give her that at least.
Interesting.
She's kind of held down your women's division all summer.
I don't feel as strongly about it as you, and I'm surprised that you're taking that stance, but I respect it because I do agree that it's undeniable that during extreme turbulence, she did give them a very solid foundation at least. I think if the match they really believe in to be the Wembley match is Willow and Mercedes, I do think that's the match they have to do. But,
To be clear, that's the match I'd rather see. But
right, but you just feel like it's the right thing to do. And I definitely get it. I think either way, there's no reason Taylor can't have another match at Wembley. If she, the indication that if she loses the belt, she can't be on the show is more a reflection of the norm with the women's division. It doesn't have to be that way. So, we'll see. It's been interesting. I think the division is definitely kicked out after I think really looking struggling, to be honest. I'm intrigued with this Willow thing. I do wonder if like her winning the belt as a babyface, the world title for the first time in July, and then losing it in August. Like, I'm not a short title reign person, but for Willow Nightingale, that does feel inherently kind of like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
It feels like that type of win for Willow and that type of win for Kenny coinciding is like kind of really bad. Like the idea that these are two people that we all want to see as world champion, and they're kind of having these like not middle of the road, but like in the middle of the build to the big show, just kind of happenstance title wins, as opposed to like Willow should get. I'm not saying that they can't build to her getting her own moment at Redemption or wherever the match may be, but I'm saying like it feels like that Willow specifically winning the world title is something that should come with more pomp and circumstance than just.
It should.
Remember, she has a 3-week build to the title match and she wins it.
Yeah.
And like the idea that like if Tekla faces Willow or Mercedes, whoever, at Redemption, or no, it would have to be.
It would be Tekla. Wait. Willow would face Tekla at Redemption.
Thank you. That's what yeah. Willow winning it there, and then probably losing it a month later to Mercedes at Wembley is like that being her first title reign. I'm not the person that's always like
right, but it does feel weird. But
because it's taken so long to get here. That being the result of her finally winning the belt is like,
is there value? Because the reality is that for all the conversation about Mercedes' next character arc after dropping all the belts, because of the circumstances, she had to basically just come back and wrestle. Yeah. Is there, is the play Willow wins at Wembley, and then you go into whatever the original plan was for Mercedes kind of rebuild as a character, she still can't complete that last one, that elusive belt. I guess you could do that, right? And maybe she's going to win it as a babyface eventually. Maybe you do a thing where that's the play. I don't know.
I would like to see that. I just don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to get that. Mercedes debuted
March of 2024.
Yeah, so I definitely get there being a feeling of like, blimey, do we want to, but I do think there's value to the idea of her like having to, kind of right her wrongs and win it as a babyface.
I think there's also, for some reason, there's a feeling for me that like, this could just be me. Tell me if I'm being an idiot. But like, how long is she really going to be in AEW?
I think she's going to be there for a long time.
If that's the case, do it. But for some reason, I've always like...
You always thought it was going to be a short stay?
Yeah.
I just don't know.
It's weird, dude.
I don't know if the market is... There are people spend money on big talent, and she's big talent, but I don't know if they're going to outbid Tony in that regard,
I mean, yeah, if that's the case, then fucking...
Yeah. I mean, listen, weirder things have happened.
Win,
yeah.
And then, wherever you want to do it again.
I
The match
think
again, just
big part of the appeal for Mercedes that she can do stuff outside the company because,
Mhm.
to be honest, since leaving WWE, I think if you did her top 10 matches, I actually reckon at least half of them I would say have been like stuff outside of even AEW, right? Because she's been here, there, and everywhere.
Mhm.
I think that's a big part of the appeal to her. So, I mean, I don't know. To be clear, there's a million things in wrestling history to teach us that you never say never with these situations, right?
Yeah.
And things can come into motion quick. But I think it's going to be there a long time, and I think there's room to tell a long-term story. All right. We're going to look over WWE, and then we're going to look in all sorts of different places after that. So WWE has been an interesting story this year in that it's, last year was the John Cena year, right? That was the big thing last year, and in January they showed signs of really actually kicking out, and they put together a few good TVs. So much so, Donnie, that our friend Ibu said the show had finally got better because John Cena had left.
Yeah, I wonder how that looks now.
Not so great. Not great.
No, I took a great victory lap on that. I got to tell you.
Good for you.
Victory lap. Thank you.
So they had like a good start to the year, and then they got to the Rumble, and I think for anyone who watched that show, it was like oh wow, like this is still some real challenges here. The big highlight of the first third of the year, I guess, was CM Punk, who, love him, hate him by hook or by crook, I do think it's undeniable that he was in really great form at the start of this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
And this came to a head at WrestleMania, which to this point in time, almost 3 months later, is his last match at this point. He seems to be coming back next week. But he had an epic WrestleMania main event with Roman Reigns that, I think for a lot of people served as a bit of a jolt or a wake-up call as to like, listen, we all debate Roman, we have fun with Roman, but he's still a bad man under the bright lights. He can still give you something special in the right setting, in the right environment. And I think is that Roman was great in that match.
Oh, yeah.
What's surprising, Donnie, is I knew there would be fatigue with Roman on top again. I did not expect them to go so far in the bloodline direction that by 2.5 months later, it already feels like the memory of that WrestleMania epic is like almost discarded for the just fatigue. And what's interesting is if you look at the matches, I like the first Jacob match, not so much the second one. But the matches aren't telling the story here, Donnie. There's a fatigue here. There's a broader issue here. What have you made of what's been the biggest story of WWE's year so far, which is the bloodline kind of reboot?
So a wise man once said, Roman Reigns is like your cool uncle who, if you only see him every once in a while, you're like, holy shit, this guy's really cool. If you start seeing him more often, you start going, wow, this guy's fucking annoying.
Who said that, by the way?
I don't know. He's a guy from Romford. I don't know if you ever heard of Romford.
I like him.
Seems like a good guy. I just he's got a nice buzz cut thing going. Roman is look. I was definitely one of those people that was like, dude, if Roman's going to win the belt, which I think we all kind of expected he would anyway, so that wasn't the shock. The shock came when he actually showed up every week, and then, much to my surprise, he seemingly got worse every week. And it's just, look, I understand that the bloodline is very important to Roman Reigns, and I think that in their minds, it definitely feels like they believe that they can recapture something. However, I believe also are completely misunderstanding what that boom period in 2023 actually was a collection of, as opposed to just, and I'm not saying the bloodline wasn't a big proponent of that, because it absolutely was, but you also, Cody's not as hot as he was 3 years ago, and that's another big story. What this Cody Rhodes situation,
we'll get there.
Killed me, but Cody,
we'll get there.
Sami Zayn was the hottest babyface in wrestling in 2023. You had Kevin Owens, who was healthy. The Usos were in peak form as workers. And what else can't be accounted for? AEW was not in a good spot in 2023. They were absolutely in probably the worst creative stretch of their existence so far. All of that coupled with a fan base that wanted WWE to be so good and was clamoring for any inkling of it being good again. And it just felt like this nuclear thing that couldn't be stopped. And now it feels almost like you're playing the hits for an audience that's too grown up to like them anymore. And people might think that's a weird statement because
no,
people
I like
rag on
that
the-
analogy.
pe-
I do
people
like that analogy.
people rag on the WWE audience a lot, but I actually think they're a lot smarter than people. If you escape our bubble, I think they're a lot smarter than people think. And like, I can pull from my experience. I have friends of mine that also watch wrestling really closely, and they watch everything like I do. And the common sentiment amongst them is like, they don't even really think WWE is bad as much as they just don't really care about it. And that's
kind of
almost
bored
worse.
by it,
Yeah, like
right?
that's almost worse, right?
Yeah.
Like, and what's really interesting to me, Joe, is maybe the most positively received booking decision of the year is Sami Zayn winning the WWE title. And think about the reception to Sami Zayn 3 months ago in terms of like, and it's just weird to think about like, he was the nucleus of the bloodline, and here we are again, and he's the guy that everybody like. It's a weird.
It's a very 2010s thing too, because Sammy, and this is not me trying to undercut what Sammy's done on a personal level, because what he's done is an amazing achievement. He won the title, but that is a very 2010s thing in that the reaction is entirely at odds with the story being told.
Yes.
Which wasn't the case in 2023 because people actually cared about the stories being told.
Yes.
He won the belt as a heel working babyface because he was, in that setting, he was a babyface.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
But like, that's not not ideally how it functions. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't, realistically, a babyface should win the belt as a babyface.
Correct. Especially amongst their people, he should win the title.
Right. So that's a very 2010s thing where, like, back in you know, there's a million examples. But in the 2010s, you had to kind of divorce the on-screen presentation from like what you personally were happy about.
Yes.
Like, oh, AJ Styles won the WWE title by kicking Dean Ambrose in the balls, but like I like AJ Styles and I'm happy for AJ Styles.
Yes.
Like that's kind of how you did things. So, Buster, you're from the outside looking in. Are you surprised by, again, from that vantage point, speaking with somewhat uneducated view, how much they've gone back in the full bloodline direction? Because I'm surprised personally.
Yeah, we knew that Roman was going to win the title again, and I figured that it would just be like, you know, maybe the Usos would get back with him and they do some tags or whatever. Yeah. But it just seems like that is the entire show. Is what I hear.
It literally is.
Well, the issue is because of the solo stuff, it kind of spans SmackDown too.
Yeah, and like it's just bizarre how I don't actually understand. I get how Roman came to the conclusion that like this is how we should do this
because it worked, right?
Yeah. But like, why they heard his idea and went, and that doesn't make any sense to me. That feels like people that
it does feel like a bigger story we're not fully aware of. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like they owed him a favor.
And the weird thing too is, technically they're baby faces, but nothing they do on TV. Like the big heat angle a few weeks ago was Jacob Fatu beat up an outsider because Roman told them to.
I genuinely think they're heels, but I just think
I don't think they don't want to boo Roman.
They don't want to boo Roman, and they also want to be able to keep Jay's entrance because it's a good like clip thing. Yeah.
It's weird, dude.
The way that the LA Knight solo stuff is presented to me is that they're going to be like baby faces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which that will actually work. Listen. If they give them any time to have like backstage skits and stuff as an odd couple pairing, they will get over as an act.
LA Knight's very good in that role. Like, look at the stuff he did with Punk last year. Like, that type of stuff works for him.
I'm sure he's thrilled to be doing it, but I think it'll work. I just, I don't. So, the Bloodline has been one of the big stories here, and I do feel, to be balanced, while I think it's ill-advised how much of a rerun it is, I do think some of it is inherently dramatic and hyperbolic because that's what we do as wrestling fans, right? And I think Roman Reigns still has a ton to offer inside the ropes, but there is a general fatigue with this arc, this story, this saga, whatever you want to call it, and I just don't know if in a time where people are looking for something new, I don't know if they need more of this particular direction.
And
are they actually doing anything different?
With the Bloodline, no, not really.
Not really.
And what's difficult with this stuff is it's not... Wrestling doesn't exist in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, can Obafemi have a 25-minute WrestleMania main event to the quality that Roman can when he's on? No.
No, of course not.
But that's not really how wrestling doesn't work that way.
It
They want to
doesn't-
see Obafemi right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can just kind of have this like attitude of you being above it all and kind of going, they do, but they don't know what they want. We need to pull this guy back. We need to rein this guy. Like, is Javon Evans ready to be the world champion? I don't know, but sometimes you got to try stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm curious for you guys because this is something that's actually fascinating me. So the SummerSlam main event is Roman and Seth, and there's obviously the big fatigue of the Shield, right? They mention the Shield all the time, but this is actually only their third pay-per-view match ever.
Right.
And for two guys of their like star power, whatever you think about Roman and Seth as wrestlers, but in terms of star power to that audience, like those are two of the biggest names they have, and they've only wrestled 3 times on pay-per-view. And I'm curious, like, do you think there's a dip? Because there is definitely bloodline fatigue, right? But it also feels like to an extent there's not as much fatigue for the Shield. So, and I'm curious, do you guys think that's more of a case of how much people like Seth Rollins that does a lot of the heavy lifting in
this
that?
is where I wanted to go, Donnie, because as much as there is online fatigue, I think it's only fair we call it down the middle here and say, in the buildings, there is still a level of interest in Roman as the top guy. That you have to, it's there. Now, you have to be very careful with that because you could just as easily, and I'm not making this a one-to-one comparison, but you'll get my point. You can watch 99 WCW and go, Hogan's still more over than Eddie. And it's like, that doesn't it necessarily mean it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But it is true. And Seth Rollins, I'll say this a million times until I'm blue in the face, he is someone the audience consistently responds to as a top guy when he's on the show. Now, you can look at metrics and stuff where he should be the top guy. I think the book on that has pretty much been wrote, but generally speaking, he's someone it can be in a big spot and the crowd accepts that. Mm-hmm. I think it's a big match. Let's be fair. Let's look on the other side of this coin. The Cody Rhodes situation, you could argue, is far stranger because that one has actually now led into a really strange crowd dynamic.
Yes.
Which Roman has a strange crowd dynamic because they don't want to boo him, but they really care about him. Mm-hmm. And they care about Cody, but Cody Rhodes has got himself in a situation. Truly, it's one of the more remarkable things I've ever seen because it's actually most similar to what he did at the end in AEW, but if it never ended.
Yeah.
He has had never-ending feuds, Buster, in which he is a babyface who seems to be daring the audience to boo him. What was you going to say?
Makes you think.
All roads lead. Go ahead.
Legitimately though, like it feels like he feels like he has a fucking Ouroboros around his neck or whatever the fuck. Like it's just consistently he finds a way to get into a situation where, like,
there's no winner.
Yeah, like he's difficult to cheer for, but he also hasn't done anything like really wrong.
I found the Randy Orton one to be just fascinating because there was a sense from people internally that were like, oh man, they're cheering Randy. And I was saying, with all respect, who on earth is surprised by this? Of course they're cheering Randy Orton. They love Randy Orton.
I want to be clear, like, Cody Rhodes isn't doing anything wrong in kayfabe. Like, there's
the character.
There's no reason for them to boo him other than like, fuck me, he won the title again. I have to, this is the champion.
He'll win matches via like fair is fair play cheating. Like a guy will bring the chair in and he'll use it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, fuck this guy," and it's old school babyface shit where it's like turnabout play. But it's just I don't know. And to me, Donnie, where I'm going with all this is an interesting time to do this because I think we're about a week away from the angle starting. Yeah, I think the CM Punk program is like the point of no return. If he's ever turning heel,
this is it. You got to do it now.
Punk's so strong as a baby, and like
I wouldn't turn Punk heel again, to be honest.
If they turn Punk heel on Cody, and I see one person be like, "Oh man, they're cheering CM Punk," like,
no shit.
How many times are we gonna do this?
Not only that, like I've seen people suggest that he should turn heel on him in fucking Chicago, Illinois. No person in Chicago is ever booing CM Punk. This could not go anywhere. I just don't. This whole thing is like, and here's the thing, Joe. Think about 2024. They do the Instagram story where Punk challenges Cody to some face-to-face. And that was like 4 days before Raw. And do you remember the anticipation for that segment? And then when the segment happens, and it's like, holy shit, like this is a WrestleMania. And then now it's
a
like
huge match. Yeah, still
it's a huge match.
Not
It's
as big as
still
it
a huge
was,
match.
right?
No,
Yeah.
but and it's not. And it almost feels like they're just dumping it onto SummerSlam. Let's just say, like, all right, fuck it. We're gonna have to do it now because fuck. Who the fuck knows what we're doing with Cody at fucking WrestleMania next year? Like it feels like they've again shot themselves in the foot where they've squeezed out juice of a big match without ever actually doing the big match, because all they've done is tease this Punk Cody program for 3 years, not deliver on it, and then send both guys on such completely different paths that it almost feels weird to marry the two of them. And then, Joe, not to mention all the people that are caught in the crosshairs, like Gunther, who, may I stress, started off the year retiring AJ Styles 6 weeks after he retired their in-canon greatest of all time, John Cena, and who, with all respect to Nick Aldis, the match actually does interest me, is probably wrestling a guy who's been the general manager for. It's all weird. Everyone's kind of it's collateral.
That was something that we talked about on this platform at the time, and you just couldn't get through to people. It was never about whether people liked Gunther or not as the right choice to end John Cena's career. It was never about that, and people made it that because everyone likes Gunther and everyone knows he's a great wrestler. The point that I tried to make at the time, and clearly failed, was, and you remember talking about this with me, Donnie?
Yes.
It doesn't matter who it is. It has to be someone that has a clear path
Direction
to being the top guy the next year. And when you would see this conversation, people would be like, no, they did the right thing because Gunther's awesome. Agreed. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But if he's not, if you don't know who he's working at WrestleMania, he don't need to be beating John Cena in his last match.
No, and like, again, here's the thing. I love the Gunther match with Cena. I thought that match was incredible. However,
and the finish is cool too.
The finish is great.
Yeah.
However, in a lot of ways, that match wasn't about having a great match. The people were going to love it because it was John Cena's last.
Yeah.
The point of that was putting someone in position to set them up to be a major player, which is why, in theory, the actual right answer, even though his booking is getting a little weird too now with this Brock stuff, Obafemi was probably the right call.
Dude, it could have been Obafemi, Gunther, whoever
Javon
you want.
Evans.
Could have been Julia. Could have been anyone. The point is, you had to have your roadmap for them.
Yes, you had to know where they were going.
At WrestleMania, they're going to beat this person, win the belt. They're going to have a year thing. That's what they had a couple years ago.
Yes.
They had a roadmap. So without that, it was always going to be wasteful. And it was like people just were so refused to listen on this when we were talking about, like, oh, he's going to work Ray at Mania. It's like, dude, I love Ray.
The match would have been great, but that's not.
If he's not retiring, it's not. You know what I'm saying? You don't go from retiring John Cena, retiring AJ, to having a 10-minute mid-card match with Ray. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's...
And this is an actual point that I want to bring up to you guys. And Buster, you specifically, because you're on the outside. I'm curious what you think. Do you remember when, at the height of their boom period, how, like, hot everything felt? Like, how every act was based, in some way, was over, right? Like, the crowds reacted to everything. It feels like crowds now don't really know how to react to anyone because they don't really know how they want to book anyone. Like, Braun Breaker's a perfect example. They clearly have no idea what they want. He just lost a feud to Seth Rollins for no, like, at least in my eyes, for no reason, right? And you compare that to when he was the Intercontinental Champion 2 years ago and he was getting those massive reactions. It feels like them not knowing what they want to do with anybody means that nobody in the audience knows how they're supposed to. It's weird. Like, nobody has any sort of connectivity to the audience now. Now, I'm curious for you, Buster, because you're not as closely watched. Does that feel that way to you, where like everything feels disjointed?
So, like, there were points in my life where I wasn't watching the World Wrestling Federation, believe it or not, before this. And during those times, I still kind of had an idea of, like, what was happening.
Yeah.
Like, where people were going and all that kind of shit. I have no idea.
It's very cluttered now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very cluttered.
I have
I
no
agree.
idea, like, who is a heel or a face anymore. I have no idea.
Nor do they.
Exactly. I have no idea what the actual stories are, really. Like, for me, looking, again, outside looking in, it feels like they are the Bloodline Factory with, like, some, like, occasional Seth Rollins
cameos.
stuff in there.
And
yeah, like,
you know, we
it's
talked
weird.
earlier about with Max, like, he's had better matches, but it's the big picture.
yeah.
SmackDown fucking sucks, but I think if you track Raw for the last 5 years, I actually reckon on average quality, it's close to where it's been previously. I reckon. But the difference is, people used to watch Raw with fine-tooth comb, be like, where are they going? What's the direction?
Right.
Oh, they're building to this. People are excited. Like, They would
That doesn't exist anymore.
dude, they would put, like, if I was coming to TV, right, they would put my fucking, like, glasses and microphone in the back of the Judgment Day clubhouse, and people would go, oh my God, Holbert's coming. He's going to work with Dom at Mania. Now, you feel lucky if you know what they're doing next week, and that is everything, bro. And I think in the same way, I think AEW suffered from that a couple of years back, where they still had good dynamites, but you didn't really like what are they doing, what are they building to. Wrestling fans, yes, we want to enjoy that show, but shows aren't isolated.
They're not a
experiences.
No,
you want to have something to anticipate.
It's a universe, if you will.
Yeah,
I will. I'll do it.
It is.
Before we talk about the women's division, I do want to, Donnie, because this isn't us just, we're having a conversation here, right? But Donnie, let's name some highlights on the men's side of things. People that you think have had a good year, that have been a positive influence on the show, and then we're going to talk about the women's division some. And then we're going to talk about the wider wrestling world, if you will. Donnie, take it away.
Yeah, so obviously CM Punk was a big highlight. I thought he was great. In recent weeks, I've really enjoyed what they've done with Chad Gable. And for the first time under this regime, besides, the heel stuff that he was doing in 2024, it feels like, obviously, again, you don't want to give them too much of the benefit out because then they'll hurt your heart. But it feels like there's at least an inkling of an idea of something to do with Chad Gable. And any opportunity for Chad Gable to get to do anything of significance is something I'm going to be down for. I thought the JD McDonough match on Raw was very good, and I don't even like JD. And I thought the Rusev match a few weeks ago was like really, really good. So getting to see Chad have anything of note is cool. This isn't main roster, but I've thought Tatum Paxley's been a highlight all year. And it's cool to track someone who is as in-house as it gets, and you can see them get better, right? And you can see them turn into someone where you go, if given the opportunity, they can really be a player on one of the two big shows. And so that's been really fun because I've always thought Tatum was super talented, but I didn't really think that she had it all put together as an actual in-ring wrestler. It feels like this year has finally, she's put it all together, right? As a character, as an act, in terms of how she's connecting with people and the matches she's having. So Tatum's been a big highlight. I know you said men only, but I have to mention Tatum Paxley when I can. And then he hasn't had, it's not as big of as 2025, but I will always take the chance to mention Old Ego Ethan Page for just being a guy that I see on TV and go, you know what? I'm happy. That was good, Buster. That was good. I'm giving you some of my pay for that. I just love seeing Ethan Page. I just love seeing him. So shout out Ethan Page.
Yeah. And Obafemi,
Yes.
major over. I do think it's worth stressing, and I'm going to get back to Amari's comment in a moment, but it's worth stressing a lot of the acts still get a stronger reaction than this conversation might imply. People like a lot of these wrestlers. I think they just want to have more to sink their teeth into. But
good year
let's
for
talk about the
Penta's,
women's
by the way,
division.
yes.
Yeah, Penta's been good in WWE. I'm going to do this. I'm going to solo on this, and then we're going to go to something else in the division. The women's tag division is... I'm watching wrestling quite some time. I've been covering wrestling now for almost 10 years. It is unlike almost any division decimation I have ever seen in my life. In December, they closed the Raw with a tag match in the women's division that was followed by an angle, legitimately like an ECW style. You know when Paulie would layer the angles?
Mm-hmm.
They did that where it was like 4 straight, and the show ended with, holy shit, there's 6 awesome, big, major teams in this division. It was the champions were the Kabuki Warriors, who obviously, to put it mildly, have been split quite unceremoniously. Rio, who I think have been split for good reason, and they're both off to do singles things. Obviously, best wishes to Rhea Ripley. That's fine, nothing wrong with that. Help me out. Charlexa, who have been beaten like a drum. And I don't even know if they're going to be a team for much longer, because to me they're going to do some kind of direction there with sales. The Judgment Day, who have not really been a team really in recent times. I think they're at the end of that run anyway. Help me out, Donnie. Who else? Bailey and Lyra have been split.
And then there's Nia and Lash, who haven't been on TV in weeks.
And Nia and Lash, who were... And I'm not blaming the talent, folk. I'm just being as honest as I can be. Legitimately used as like a battering ram. And they beat most of the teams I just mentioned. They got heat on them. over and over and over. Every fucking match would end with them coming out and beating the hell out of the babyfaces. They just beat the hell out of the babyfaces. And ultimately, the payoff was they dropped the straps to Brie Bella and Paige, and then had like a historically bad rematch with them on TV. All of this has ended up with a division in which, yes, hopefully Fatal Influence are about to win the belts, which we'll get more into that in a moment, but it's not. I'm not trying to disrespect Brie Bella and Paige, but I can't believe that's what that all came to. Like, after all that I just discussed, it came down to hopefully Fatal Influence can beat Brie Bella and Paige. In January, we were talking about a gauntlet match that's going to like be an hour of Raw. We were talking about a 16 Mania match. We were talking about, oh my God, maybe they could... And we're so far removed from that now that it's just, I don't expect a lot, but I legitimately would like to know who has benefited from any of it. Like, there's no teams left on it.
There's nobody. And Joe, not only obviously this was never going to happen, but it speaks to where the division was. People were saying that could main event night one of WrestleMania, that gauntlet match. Like, that was a real...
Was always a little much, but was...
It was an indication of how,
yes.
Yeah, like we all liked the angle, dude. And again, like, you're looking at, and here's the thing, Joe, that you mentioned. Think about all the names that we just listed, how much talent was involved in all this stuff, and pretty much none of them are better off. Lyra just turned heel, and yes, I thought the promo that she cut on Monday was very good, but you have your concerns because her booking, even before the Bayley team formed, was questionable post SummerSlam. Bayley, you always worry about because, you know, she's a legend and you always worry about how they treat them. Fatal Influence, which you'll get more into, so I'll just say this one quick thing, is like, think about the heat that they had their first 2 weeks on the main roster, and now compare it to where we are.
Let's talk about Fatal Influence, because we've honestly, the rest of the group we've covered.
Yeah, extensively. We know the deal.
Yes. And so, like, here's the thing. Bayley's like, she's Bayley, right? Like, you can always heat her up. I don't agree with the mentality of just like, well, she'll be all right, because it's just so, it messes, you know, it's not a good attitude to have. But that's the truth. And it's the same for Alexa and Charlotte. And Charlotte's doing okay. I worry about the Jade match, but
a lot.
Yeah. The Fatal Influence thing is so weird because it's like, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess there's going to be an attempt to convince us that they stopped them so they'd have like a bigger thing later on. But like, why? Like, what would have been the payoff there anyway? So yeah, I don't know. I just don't get that. As far as this transfer to the single stuff, because the tag stuff is just infuriating, right? But so let's talk broadly here. I think Rhea Ripley in ring actually was having a really good year.
Yes. I thought she was the best one's wrestler in the company, honestly.
Her and Jade had actually like genuinely had physical chemistry, I thought. So that was like, you know, I think a highlight. Jade has been interesting in that I think her matches have, until the bizarre choice to do that match with Tiffany, which I didn't understand at any point. I thought was just baffling. But until then, I think her matches over-delivered. The issue, Donnie, is as much as I'm happy that Mia Yim's got a spot on TV because I like Mia Yim, like, they're used as the Shield.
Yeah. They won tonight. Again.
They win every week.
They do. And they were brought in the middle of a WrestleMania bit. That's like the big angle for WrestleMania. And I just, look, the Jade conversation has always been weird because, again, like you said, it's always been about how bad her matches are, when the reality is it's actually not her matches that are the problem anymore. It's the fact that she's never felt less important and less of a star than she does right now. And that's the exact opposite of what you would have wanted for Jade Cargill. And it's just, man, like, it feels, again, like there's just no interest in doing anything of note with any of these women. Like, and again, best wishes to Rhea Ripley. I hope she's recovering well, whatever happened, the knee injury, whatever. But it has felt like there's just such a dip in, I mean, look at what we were talking about when Rhea was active, right? This slow burn with her and Charlotte, and Alexa was in the middle of it. And what are we getting Rhea and Charlotte at SummerSlam for the title in this big rematch of a big pairing in the division that hasn't really been visited a lot, to now we're doing a Charlotte and Jade match, which 3 years ago, sure, but is that really the right match for a stadium show?
We did a Grin along, and I knew it immediately when they did that 6-woman tag and they showed up, the baddies showed up, it was like, oh man, this is not going to be good. And I was unfortunately correct. That was a really, honestly, a pivotal, shift they made there.
Diversion.
Yeah, diversion, because the TV has been way worse for it, and it's not because the match. Like, I thought the Saturday Night's main event match the baddies had was like legitimately.
Yeah, we had
good.
a lot of fun with that. Yeah.
So it's not like a thing where they're stinking up out there. They're just not. They haven't got a lot of heat, and they just beating the baby faces ain't getting them any heat. It's just killing the baby faces.
Yeah, and then it's just again like. You even look at on Raw, right, and the Liv Morgan situation, even the Stephanie Becker situation before that. It feels like everyone's running in place, or literally no one's doing anything. Liv Morgan at SummerSlam, when she wrestles Io Sky for the women's world title, that will be her first title defense after winning the belt. At that time, 4 months before SummerSlam, she's held the belt for 4 months. She's wrestling Io Sky, who just beat her in the Queen of the Ring tournament. So she beat the world champion in a tournament to determine who could wrestle the world champion, to wrestle her again for the world.
G1, baby.
Yeah, like it's just all so backwards.
It is, but who would you highlight as a positive in that regard, Donnie?
On the main roster?
Yeah, in NXT too.
Yeah, again, Tatum, like I said, Lola, I think has come along really well this year. Kalani Jordan, I think has come along really well since turning heel. Kendall, I think has been, obviously there's a lot of different conversations about her. But I do think she's incredibly talented. She's gonna be a big star. Ren Sinclair is super underrated. In all the matches I've seen her work this year, she's been fucking awesome. And they haven't gotten to wrestle a ton in big matches, but I think Bayley and Lyra in ring have maintained their consistency when given the opportunity to wrestle people of their caliber. And this is more of a prediction more than anything, but I do just want to highlight her because I do think we're getting the babyface turn here soon. I think Roxanne Perez is going to be so fucking over as a babyface. And I think that she put together a great skill set as a heel worker, but I think the money's always been in Roxanne as an underdog babyface.
Do you think she's turning babyface?
I do, actually. I do. Because now here's the thing. I would hesitate to keep Liv Morgan a heel because I don't think Liv Morgan's a good heel at all, but I just think that there's more to be had with Roxanne as a babyface, just to at least explore what that could be like on the main roster.
I think Liv's turning babyface. Buster is Team Liv. What are you saying?
She's the queen.
She mothers and slays.
She's queening out.
Can you say trouble?
Agreed.
Oh.
Agreed. I think Liv's turning. So, who's had the best matches in the main roster on the women's division?
Rhea Ripley until she got her. I think it's
been a quiet year, isn't it?
And again, compare that to last year, where the only highlight for most people was how great the women's division was in terms of match quality.
How finished. I'm trying to think, like,
it's literally. I think it's just been Rhea, dude. Like I can't.
Because Io's had a pretty quiet year.
Yeah, she's had a few glimmers. Stephanie Becker didn't get to wrestle anybody besides Raquel Rodriguez, who, with all due respect to Raquel Rodriguez, I don't know how many times we can do this singles push thing, which they don't even commit to, actually. They just kind of have her wrestle big matches, and then she goes away.
I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't know, folks. And finally, I wanted to circle all the way back. There is a huge kind of help yourself situation on the matchmaking front. We could talk about directions all day long, and I just focused on them because I think it's hugely important to the audience that's locked in on WWE. They want to know, what am I invested in? Where are we going? Keep me engaged. But with the level of talent on their roster, the bare minimum should be put together some matches that are going to click and going to work. I mean, the direction and stuff, I understand it's hard because a lot of the top guys are very, very particular about what they do, right? To be honest.
Yeah.
But with that amount of talent, there have been matches on major shows this year that just have no business being matches on major shows. And to me, that much is the minimum. I mean, here's an example. Raw on Netflix, Raquel Rodriguez, Maxine Dupree.
The only woman.
There's got to be a different way. There's no way to live that. No way to live at all. So yeah, I think that covers it all. And again, I'm sorry if that was too negative. I think that was a fair reflection of their year so far. There's still, I think Roman and Punk's one of the best matches of the year so far. Like, I think it's like...
It's right behind Tanahashi and Okada for me, to be honest.
It was... I remember Buster joining us for that in motion and it just being like, fucking...
Quite good.
Yeah.
It was contentious and prickly, It was like,
here's the thing, too, is like, I do want to say that, at least for me personally, there are a lot of problems with WWE that they themselves can fix actually very easily. It's just a lot of their issues are self-inflicted wounds that if they took any time to sort, could make the product even. I'm not saying it's going to be as great as it was 3 years ago because there's a lot of different circumstances.
The boom's gone.
That's different. That it happens, but there's no reason that the product can't be good. There are things there are steps they can take to make it good.
I agree, and I think we'll be interested to see what happens with SummerSlam. You know, the SummerSlam card, I think, actually has a chance, so we'll see what comes of it.
So far, I like it, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of it. Let's go to the chat. Please like the stream if you haven't already, by the way. We're having a hell of a time. We've got another, bunch of stuff we're going to get into here. We're just rolling right now. Mavs fans have thoughts on the World Cup, best I've ever watched. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It's been fucking awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. It's been a blast. Every time I've watched, it's been a thriller. Honestly, it's been terrific. So,
and Zlatan's on.
Absolutely, I'm really enjoying it thus far. Thank you, Mavs fan. Hope you're having a good one. Our guy Wheezy, who was booked for this show at one point, says I hate working, couldn't make it. Thank you, Wheezy. We'll have you back on shortly. Kuzu, remember for 18 months, Dave running scared of that Mercedes crew lashings. Be a man and stand on your rating.
I do like the fact that he said, I apparently have to watch it again.
Like he's being forced.
Very sassy.
Yeah.
And the thing where he was like, I've heard ratings from 2 3/4 to 5. It's
yeah. Ooh.
I don't even want to. I could talk about that all day. Anyway, Jun Mana, remember 3 months and says this Punk Cody stuff was do or die for Cody. I'm on the same page as you, and I agree. I'm trying to be dramatic about those things, but got to make a choice here. Bus, what's up?
I had a question that I was going to ask, but then
I love questions.
Y'all moved on to some other dumb shit y'all were talking about. But by the start of the 2030s, next decade, is Cody still in the World Wrestling Federation?
Yes.
Yes, I think he retires there.
I think it's a fair question, though, because, man, is it weird right now.
It's
definitely
really
weird.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Yeah. I definitely think there's a chance he does something nutty, but I think he does. We also, I do want to stress, Buster muted during some of that segment because there was fireworks going off. He wasn't angry that we were doing the exact show. No. Yeah. It's very stress.
It was,
He specifically told us in the private chat there was a lot of fireworks.
There was fireworks going on. A couple of streets over, so it was like,
He wasn't sitting there going, oh, wow, they're talking about the stories of 2026.
Yeah, and I went, fuck off.
All right, let's talk about New Japan.
Fuck yeah.
Who talk about do or die crossroads situation, right? To go for fucking ESPN Talk Radio. So overall, New Japan made a really promising start to the year, right? Fueled obviously by, an incredible house, Hiroshi Tanahashi's farewell. And there was a concern about, okay, what next? And immediately the next day, New Year's Dash, there was a Knockout Brothers match and post-match promo that felt like a sign of hope. And I think that hope has definitely sustained for the first, I would say, third of the year, quarter of the year, whatever you want to say. Knockout Brothers a big part of that. I did not like Dominion. I've heard very good things about the Road to G1 shows since. Buster, where are we at vibe-wise, mate? What are we thinking about? This is G1 season feels big for them, really big.
It does. It feels... My interest in New Japan is like only slightly less than where it was in the spring. Like I'm still very interested. I don't watch every show, but I keep up through Khalid for the most part with general happenings of the promotion. The G1 is important both for legitimately me as a wrestling fan because I really want you to win it like that.
Yep.
I'm truly in on it this year. I'm not gonna watch every match. I'm not gonna do that whole thing, but I at least have like a genuine I have a genuine interest in a result that I'm looking forward to happening. Hopefully, but also because we've said it many times that the G1 feels like where Ghetto goes, fuck it, just do whatever you want, and that seems to be when the company goes on the downturn every year, kind of. There's, different reasonings for that. And I think there's been a couple years where the fall hasn't been terrible, but it wasn't as good as the start of the year most of the time. So it's just, I am interested. I'm a little scared,
Yeah.
but I'm happy that this year, for the first time in quite like 4 years, I've had like a genuine like result that I'm hoping is going to happen. I can like be a fan and watch it.
Well, part of the fear is it does feel like there's been an increasing obsession with like subverting expectations, scaring people, shocking people. You know, there's a chance that Uemura does win the G1, but he does so beating like Ren Narita in the final because, oh, imagine that, you know, it'd be a shocker. And there's been a lot of weird choices in the G1. I mean, last year's final, I mean, Evil's better than Ren Narita, but that was the final last year, right? It was Outsider Takeshita versus Evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, it does feel like they've fallen in love with, we got to surprise people.
Yeah.
If Uemura is going to win the G1, I would like him to win it in a match befitting that environment, that setting. I'd rather they not do something where it's like, oh my god, imagine if Jake Lee got him though. Like, I don't need to.
Yeah, no, that it's like, yeah, it's like teasing the fan, but in like, imagine you hate the product going forward. Imagine that happens, lol. That is like,
and I know people say there's a disconnect, but you're absolutely correct. Like, it's fucking brutal, dude.
yeah, I can't, like, even if there is a disconnect,
It still feels like what they're doing sometimes.
yeah, and it's also like, I understand that they care about the Japanese fan because that's who's buying the
Yes,
fucking
as they
ticket.
should. Yeah.
But also like, there's no, like, you're doing shows in the U.S. There's no interest in how the U.S. fans are reacting to it.
Well, I also don't. This year's rendition of House of Torture, when I watch the shows, I find the crowd reacts almost like it's sort of like, oh, here they go again. It don't feel like there's any authenticity to the reaction to it at all.
It feels like Grandpa cracked a joke, and you're like, I get it. That's a good
There
one,
is.
Grandpa.
I'm all for wrestling being a variety show. I think the most honourable way to do wrestling is to have a little bit of shit on it.
Yeah.
However, there are some matches on these shows that there is room for someone to just go, I think we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And
Yeah, the
yeah,
ELP Jake Lee match is the kind of thing where it's like,
shouldn't happen. Just shouldn't happen. Straight
yeah,
up.
like, I agree, you have to have some shit on the show, but that is like,
That's not the kind of shit you're looking for.
no, that's explosive. That's explosive,
Yeah, you don't need
catastrophic
that.
to your stomach lining type shit.
Yeah, you don't need that kind of shit.
Your
on the show.
stomach
You don't.
lining.
There is, like, genuinely, I'm all for. I don't need a wrestling show to be like supercard style at all.
No.
Like, I'm happy to watch like a 2.5 every once in a
I
while.
like to have ebbs and flows.
But like, that match was legitimately like hard to watch bad. Like that. And I just think there's just guys, and I understand that the way they approach it's different, and there are guys who are like, they're part of the team, you know, and they do look at it that way, especially with dojo guys. Obviously not the guys we talk about, but like there's an element of that with dojo guys, right? Of like part of the squad. But LVJ, I just popped me. I just think there's room to be a little bit harsher with drawing the line, and you know, maybe I think that would improve kind of the floor of some of the shows. But
Yeah,
nonetheless, Donnie, there has been a lot to like. I think the young guys have done a hell of a job. I do think when they have bigger shows, you do have a little bit of a reminder of like, oh man, these guys have a long way to go in terms of getting over. But in terms of talent, Donnie, these guys are players. Let's get it right. These guys are very, very gifted. This new crop of guys emerging, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because so I am what some on Twitter would call a LARPer, I guess, when it comes to New Japan. I am more of an outsider. I remember last year, a lot of my New Japan viewing was very much just whatever Hiroki Goto was doing, which I do think, if nothing else, is a great indication that this year I have more people that I actively go out of my way to watch than I did last year, which is a sign that there's something right going on. There's a lot of great talent. TMDK has been a great stable. Obviously, Owe and Yuya has been a great story to follow. Those two young guys kind of paralleling each other. That's been great. The story of the Knockout Brothers and specifically Yuto Ice and how he's been getting over. And he had that great match with Taichi in the Road 2 the other day. His booking has been, up and down, more down, but Aaron Wolf is an interesting prospect, right? He just had that incredible match with Yoshihashi on the Road 2 show that I thought was legitimately, like, outside of Tanahashi and Okada, maybe the best singles match New Japan's ran all year. Like, I thought that match was unbelievable.
Damn, I need to catch up.
Really?
Yeah,
Apparently it's
singles,
awesome.
singles match.
So Khalid
Singles
texted
match.
me, was like,
Well, yeah.
yeah. Khalid texted me, was like, you got to watch this Aaron Wolf match. And I went,
Bro, it's really
you fucking
good,
with me right
dude.
now?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, it's like, actually, it was Yoshihashi. And then he started going to his whole spiel, like, Aaron Wolf's been wrestling nothing but House of Torture guys all year. And I'm like, I get it. I understand that.
Voice message, Khalid.
He just, yes.
Yeah.
He just hasn't looked very good, even if
Yeah.
he is wrestling guys that are shit.
More people have told me it's fucking awesome. I intend to watch
I gotta
him.
watch
I think
that,
we're probably going to talk about it next week, probably. On this show.
Oh, dude, it's great.
So-
It, to me, what stood out is it's the first time I've gotten the sense that Aaron Wolf can have a more dynamic match than just being like the guy that throws people around. And that, because that's obviously cool, right? Like, I love suplexes. That's great. But
Right.
he got a chance to be an underneath babyface in front of a crowd that was really responsive to him. And he sold really well and his strikes look great. So I thought for that, it was very promising. But I think what's been also really cool is kind of seeing how this younger crop of talent has kind of lit a fire under the older guys that are still around. And so it feels like everyone is motivated by each other. And there's this great sense of competition in New Japan that feels very honorable. It feels very New Japan. And it's been really cool to watch New Japan shows with energy and with life and with a sense that they're not doomed when, I mean, look, Tanahashi retired to start the year. And obviously Tanahashi is, you know, the guy, there's a lot of mileage. The bump card is very big.
The star
but
power. Yeah.
yes,
And Naito left before.
Naito left it. You can't replace the star power, but it does feel like had Tanahashi retired last year or 2 years ago, there would be a bigger concern of like, holy shit, like who's coming up next, right? Like who do we have to look forward to in New Japan? It doesn't feel that way now. And whatever you may think of him, they tried something with Callum Newman, right? Giving him the world title at this young age. And that is at least bold. And sometimes in wrestling, you have to be bold. You have to be willing to try things, and you have to be willing to, even if a new guy doesn't work out, you would rather find out that he doesn't work because you took that chance rather than he floundered because you waited too long to pull that trigger. And I haven't seen a lot of his like most acclaimed work. I've only seen like little bits here and there, but I haven't had an issue with anything I've seen of his. And so that's at least an indication of something positive.
Put that on the poster, Buster.
I haven't seen a lot, but it is just like, it's nice to watch New Japan shows and not walk away thinking like, damn, dude, the future looks really bleak. There's guys to root for. And I'm with Buster, dude. I want you to win this G1 really bad.
Me too. Yu's terrific. And we do have to emphasize the Knockout Brothers have been the highlight of their year.
Yes.
And what makes that exciting is, and this actually goes all the way back to the WWE conversation we had earlier. I'm a firm believer in this. Once a book is completed, once a chapter is closed, however you want to phrase it, you never are going to be able to recapture the things that particular thing had, right? The strengths of like the way to reboot New Japan isn't guys having their attempt to Okada Tanahashi.
Yes.
It's no good for anyone. What was the one thing that era of New Japan almost never had? Main event level IWGP tag title matches. It was never treated that way. When New Japan was at its height, people online would always say, it's great, but man, I wish Gedo was good at booking the tag teams. What made those shows exciting earlier this year was it felt like the Knockout Brothers were legitimately one of the very much the feature matches, the attraction matches.
Yes.
There's a lesson there across the board.
Dude,
They may have had multiple shows.
It's still that way for me because, like,
Yeah.
I like Yoda Tsuji as a wrestler. I think he's good. I don't love all of his matches.
Me
Callum is the same way.
Yeah.
So it's just been like, I will watch the main event, and more than likely I'll like it.
Right.
I think it's good. But those fucking Knockout Brothers tags are consistently my favorite matches on the show.
There's a spirit.
Every time.
And they've had the time too, right? So
Yes.
full props in that regard because, you know, there was a time where those tag title matches were like you'd just get 12 in the middle like it was the Attitude Era. But, and I'm not trying to overact on one result because I think they're going to win the belts back like after the G1 at Destruction or something. But I didn't like them losing the belts because it very much felt like just like a mid-card title change to me. And I think they were in the midst of a reign that was actually reframing the belts. And I think Hanare's actually like really fun to watch. And I haven't even got an issue with the Great Khan. We've discussed this, Buster, at length. But I don't know if that was the fucking time, dude. I think they had there was a feeling they were like doing something special.
Yeah.
And I know they're gonna get him back, and I know it ain't the end of the world, but like
There was more work to do there.
it felt like a chance to break from the norm and just be like, yeah, these guys give me the chance for 18 months. No one's beating them. They're the guys. Like, to me, was very much just like a lower the ceiling on their heads a little bit. To me personally, but a match was really good, right? We didn't love the finish, but the match was really good. So
I haven't seen that yet, so that was good. I was gonna ask how that was. I haven't seen
Buster,
it yet.
right?
Yeah, it was really good. Hanare was like,
on one.
on one in a way I haven't seen.
I need to watch. I need to watch that back. I haven't seen it.
I think one of the big stories in Japan has been the Joshi scene, which
Yes.
So, if you're like as a smart wrestling fan, I mean like online wrestling fan. Whenever I say smart wrestling fan, folks, I'm not commenting on IQ. I'm just saying like you're watching this sort of shit. It's like a tale as old as time that like you hear regularly about. There was a crazy match in Stardom, or like that's the wrestling fan experience, right? Like you got to see this match from Japan and I don't say that as a knock. It's wrestling. That's what it's always been. What has been interesting is that it does feel like commercially there actually is like a genuine kind of boom happening of sorts, and I don't want to overstate it, but Buster, I think it's fair, right? When you look at the house that Stardom had for Grand Queendom earlier this year in April, I believe. When you look at what a Tokyo Joshi Pro is able to do outside of Japan, especially, I mean, look at what they've done in America. It's pretty remarkable. And even some of these shows, you look at these Sendai Girls shows, it's like, man, these are like pretty sizable shows. It does feel like there's an increased notoriety, reporting coverage. What do you think, Buster? Am I on the right track here?
It feels like how CMLL felt in like 20.
Love that.
Perfect fucking
like
comparison.
late
That's the perfect
2024.
comparison.
Yeah.
Where like they're kind of building to something and they're not quite there yet in terms of the heights they're going to reach, but they're getting there, and it's like a consistent just ramp. Because like I'm not gonna like sit up here and LARP like Donnie does. I'm kidding. Where I don't watch that much Joshi stuff, to be totally honest, but I hear a lot about it, and I'm constantly getting recommendations of stuff to watch from Khalid, or honestly, a lot of the time it is Donnie. But it's a lot more coverage, genuine interesting coverage that I've seen in
Right.
a couple of years. It's been around
And-
since probably like Sari went back.
Yeah. And what's most notable about that is, to be frank, I mean, our show's part of that tonight, even though that was the plan, that's at a time where I think there's never been less conversation about the stuff outside of the big two in the States.
Yes.
Which makes it more... I feel like the Night of Grand Queendom, that's the most people I've seen online talking about a non-Big Two show outside of like Wrestle Kingdom or the AMC premiere where everyone was going, do you see it? Blimey. You know, like,
Yeah.
it really does feel that his eyeballs head in that direction. Donnie, you watch a lot more of it than us. Today I watched a bunch of Sendai Girls from actually last year, which I'm increasingly comfortable with the feeling that promotion is most suited to my taste, to be honest.
It's so good. Dude.
But, speaking about this kind of
Yeah.
overarching trend.
Yeah, I think Buster made the perfect comparison to CMLL in late 24 because it feels like everyone is trying to learn more about it. It feels like I'm like Buster mentioned, people are DMing each other links and people are asking like, oh, where can you find this match? And I think the biggest example I can use is in April of WrestleMania weekend. One of the big matches for people was the rematch between Senka and Aja Kong, right? Which was a rematch of a 5-minute exhibition that happened last year, right? And Senka last year she was a rookie. She wasn't really well known, especially here in America. But that match caught the attention of everyone so much that Senka has been, at least in circles that I'm in, one of the most closely followed wrestlers of anyone in my like friend circles. Like everyone is trying to just see her latest work. And the match with Aja just aired last week. That legitimately was 2 months of people asking, can we please see this fucking match? Which for a Joshi match, and again, Aja Kong has been wrestling for over 4 fucking decades. She celebrated her 40-year anniversary in wrestling earlier this year. That's fucking nuts. That still 40 years later, one of the most hyped and anticipated matches of the year is a match between her and someone who is still so young in their careers. And that's kind of been an increasing trend, right? You look at someone like a Chihiro Hashimoto, who has always kind of been someone that you hear whispers of, like, oh my God, she's incredible. It never feels more palpable in terms of more people watching her and going out of their way to say, no, this is actually maybe the best wrestler in the world today. And people going out of their way to watch her stuff.
I have to stress this with respect and love. There are sometimes names that get titled the best wrestler in the world. And it does feel like people are just trying to impress me a little bit because I watch them like, they're cool, but like, Jiro Hashimoto might be the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah, dude, she's fucking dude.
She's in at like small things, big things, nuanced things.
She's
amazing. Take away, Don.
And it's just, it's unbelievable. Like, so many of my, like, if I were to make, like, I've seen some mutuals of mine have made like their 50 favorite matches of the half year. Chihiro Hashimoto, I think, would maybe have like 10 of them, like in a 50 match. Like, she has had an unbelievable year, and that's only coincided with, Buster mentioned Suri. Obviously, she has the neck injury, and we all wish her the best. But for her standards, this is like a really quiet year, even when she was active, and she's still the been
Spark
great.
Crush stuff has been terrific. Though,
oh, it's been awesome, dude. But it speaks to the level of talent and the level of awareness that people are growing to have. That Suri can have this quiet year, and it's not a detriment to the Joshi scene like it would have been 2 years ago, where she was the main topic of conversation. Now it's like, did you see the Senka match? Or not even just Senka, but the other rookie from Marigold, Sarah Yamako, who's been mirroring her, and some people would even argue is eclipsed her in terms of where people think she's going to be. That's become a real debate, and it's cool to see people latch on to wrestlers that you're going to be able to say you saw them develop and become, total package wrestlers. And that's cool. And that feels like something we haven't had in the Joshi scene for a long time. And like you said, Joe, it's not even just Sendai Girls. Marvelous has been running shows all year, and they've had really big success, and people have been going out of their way to watch their shows. And like you said, Tokyo Joshi Pro and Sendai Girls. And it's just really cool to see how much people care to learn about the scene.
I can't speak to the Japanese public because I'm just not educated on it. I see the crowds and I go, oh man, this ain't going on. Like, the Stardom Grand Queendom one was a legitimate, like, news.
That was crazy, dude.
If you've seen, like, I could be wrong on this. I think New Japan did, like, 6K at Osaka Joe, maybe.
I'll check.
It weren't. Listen, I've seen Osaka Joe when it was full. It weren't full. I know that. And that's not even a prick. I'm just saying, like, it was notable what Grand Queendom did because it ain't a time of, like,
It's not a big boom.
No, there's not. A lot of these shows are not happening in front of packed houses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's. But I think, honestly, what makes this kind of an interesting topic to me as someone that's very uneducated on it, but just tries to just have a broad, a loose idea of what's going on, is it is a little bit the old school, Buster, of like, this conversation isn't divorced from the one we had earlier about frustrations with women's divisions in the Big Two in the States, right? In the sense that you do actually feel like the olden days, fans going, oh, this TV stuff sucks. What's going on over in Stardom? Let me have a look at it. I'm going to give it a shot, right? You feel that. It's interesting.
It does, like... I wish we could have a time where like, U.S. television is good, and also there is genuine interest outside of it. Because
one has to go with the other often, right?
Yes. Like, there's only real interest in anything outside of happening outside of, AEW or WWE when they're bad. And that's really sad to me, because I wish people were like, they just wanted to watch more wrestling because they want to watch more wrestling and not.
But
it's just, it's also, it's just the fact that there's so much fucking wrestling you're already watching. Right. If the TV is good, I get why they don't want to watch more wrestling.
Yeah, and this is a different. So if you go through wrestling history, what we have now is closest to what happened to what there was in like '98, basically, right? In terms of like these two monster promotions in the States that have tons of wrestlers. But let's be real. In terms of talent pool, it's not the same, because if you look at who the best workers in the world were in 97 and 98, look at the top guys, and with respect, we all just put over, Tsuji and Uemura. Bro, it's a different thing.
It's not even
like,
close.
Like, you look at the guys back then, like, it's just a different thing. So I do get why, if you're on a time crunch, you're going to just go like, who's wrestling on Dynamite? Like, what EO's wrestling who on, like, so I get it completely, but I do get your point. And I think, to your point, Buster, it's hard not to look at in the New Japan show in Chicago. Hopefully they sell a lot of tickets over the next week. We're going to watch that show on the air next week. But it ain't doing great. When you compare that to Tokyo Joshi Pro's couple trips to the States, which not to say they're running, MetLife Stadium. But I do think it speaks to AEW is giving fans, they're scratching the itch that New Japan used to scratch. Tokyo Joshi Pro still has a niche, right, Buster? Which I think you were at a US show last year and you were blown away by the experience. Yeah. So don't do that for sure.
I do also want to say, fucking Miyu Watanabe's had another incredible year. Like the Suzume match start the year, I really watched that on the air. It was awesome. Yuki Arai match at Grand Princess or whatever they call it. Show my apologies. Was fucking awesome. But she's like consistently just
she's so good.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep, absolutely. So,
and I can't recommend that marvelous show enough. From they aired it on June 26th. It's on YouTube for free. 4 matches that I legitimately think everyone should go out of their way to watch. It was an unbelievable show with a great crowd.
We have a last couple of segments I want to do here, and so some of these we're not as educated on. But it's again, the word tonight was stories, right? That was the what are the kind of overarching. If someone said to you, "I've missed all of wrestling," what's happened? That was the idea with this show. I think the stuff in Mexico, the Lucha Libre scene, is so interesting because as someone that's not well versed in the style and honestly isn't even particularly fond of like a lot of the most celebrated lucha today, I still think it's an interesting subject, and it has become somewhat of a sort of promotional turf war, hasn't it? Inherently, and AAA is a weird beast because it's like. I mean, what it was before the sale was obviously like a Frankenstein monster. But now it's just such a strange, like, middle ground. It's hard to, like, for example, they just rebooted Garza and Humberto with, the angle they did on Triple R, and then, like, on SmackDown, they're still the same, like, they're losers on SmackDown. And that is, even for them, that's, like, weird to do that level of, like, disconnect between your own properties. That's really strange. Yeah. But they've had some really good stuff. And Donnie, without question, the Americano match, we don't get into in depth because we reviewed it obviously a month or so ago, but like that is, if someone said to you, I've missed all of wrestling in 2026, that is one of the big matches of the year, right? Undeniable.
Yeah, I would show somebody that whole feud. Like it's just weird because, dude, you listen to those crowds at those AAA shows, like it's actually unbelievable how much those people care about AAA. Like it's cool, dude. Don't get me wrong. It's just weird because it's, again, how did we really get here? And that also weirdly coincides with, I haven't watched CMLL as closely this year as I have last year or even at the end of 2024. So I can't speak to it from a broader perspective, but it does feel like the general conversations around CMLL aren't as big or diverse as they were a year ago now. And I don't really know what that could be attributed to.
Let's stop there because I was going to go to you on this. So we'll go into this. So Donnie, for anyone who's not familiar with the way Donnie approaches wrestling, Buster, tell me if you'd say this is fair to say. If Donnie hears a match is good and has juice, he's going to watch it, right? Like, no matter where it happens, he's the biggest completionist on the platform, fair to say, when it comes to modern wrestling.
Yeah.
As a result of that, in the last couple of years, you watched a lot of CMLL because, as we mentioned earlier, in around 2023, 2024, CMLL kind of became the trendy, like, if you know, fucking real pro wrestling's going on at Arena Mexico, right? And so you watched a lot of it that way. Would you say that that isn't me being off base when I was going to ask you that shifty, right? That's what you were going to, right?
No, that's not off base at all. Yeah. And again, like, I can even speak to it. Like, a lot of my, maybe not a lot, but I definitely do look at Twitter and a lot of the recognition my friends give me, and I go, okay, this is something to circle, and I'll watch this, right? Because if nothing else, even if I don't fully pay attention to a promotion, I at least want to get some sort of an idea of where they're at. Right. Just because it's interesting, right? And if something catches fire, then that's something you can turn to scratch an itch because I want to watch wrestling, right? And so I think that, Joe, to your point, is what CMLL did for a lot of people, where when AEW wasn't as great as it was, and even WWE at the end of 24, early 2025 was kind of falling off a bit from the boom, CMLL scratched that itch of like, oh shit, this is something cool because the crowds were hot, the wrestling was great, and it was something we could latch onto. It feels like, and maybe this again has in part to do with what you mentioned about AEW New Japan, where you get so much of CMLL talent on AEW programming with a lot of the top AEW talent. So for a lot of people, especially stateside, that desire to go out and see all these people in their home promotion doesn't really exist now because you are watching them on your home promotion already. So it's like, and for a lot of people, AEW is the standard of professional wrestling in terms of the match quality and everything like that. So for a lot of people, it's like, why would I go out of my way to watch this when I can already just see it on Wednesdays? Like, why would I go out of my way?
And let's be clear, that's not a criticism. That's
no,
just,
absolutely not. It's just
the
how it is.
Inevitable give and take, right, Buster? So it's like you get a ton of exposure on your guys, and you get to have Mystico's incredible entrance at Grand Slam last year be on fucking TBS, you know, to a whole other audience, which, let's be clear, Mystico doesn't need exposure in terms of audience, but in that particular domain, it was definitely people going, holy shit, this thing is an amazing story, right?
Yeah.
But there is give and take to that, and even in our own family, with Shoot was paying, you know, $35 for the membership and was like, Mystico's on AEW every week now. I'll just watch that.
I was paying $35 for the membership.
It's a tough thing, Buster, right? Like, what do you think from your... And again, you're someone who's like me, you're just looking at the broad strokes, but have you noticed that being a little bit of a factor also?
Yeah, I think there's just like... There's... I don't even want to say there's like less interest. It's just like they've kind of been around for a bit now in terms of like the online fan being a big fan of them.
Fair. Yeah.
So I don't want to say honeymoon phase, but it's just like you've seen it,
right?
You know,
right.
There's less novelty to touring to Mexico now. There's less like
discovery.
Yeah, the discovery's not there. They're like, you know who their guys are now, or you know they're women.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But it's not necessarily. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No,
I just think
kind of inevitable, right?
Yeah.
It's just different to what it was.
Whenever you start something new, it's like, I mean, I'm gonna relate it to a video game. I apologize, but like whenever you start playing Skyrim for the first time or something, it's like, what the fuck is even like? What is in this world? You know, or what's around that corner? That kind of thing. Once you spend a couple hours in the game and you start to know the map and you recognize the landmarks and stuff, it's like, I mean, this is cool. I'll stick around, but it's not the same at all.
And to be clear, this is a very small part of the picture. As far as I know, they're still doing.
Oh my god! I think they sold out again. Fucking today. I think
they're doing fine.
Yeah, they are. It's just this is very much like
we can only speak to us.
A reflection, but it's also a reflection of the conversations in our world, right? It's like we're. I can't speak. I have no read on how the Mexican public views CMLL versus AAA in 2026. I brought it up on the Americano Grin along, and like it was, people perceived it like I was trying to downplay it. I legitimately am interested. Like anyone who's well versed on Lucha Libre, you please can comment. Like I would love to know if you just asked like a hardcore Lucha fan, like what do you make? Because they're so different the way they run.
Yeah,
it's
like,
insane.
Their models are like.
Couldn't be farther apart from each other.
It's like if AEW was a live event business opposite SmackDown and Raw. Like that's genuinely what it's like. It's I don't know.
This is actually a great point, and it speaks to one of my with modern wrestling. It's so much easier now to get fatigued with wrestling because there's so much of it literally every day, and it's actually never been easier to watch. Now, obviously, CMLL is different because you have to pay for it, but like if you wait a day, there's ways to go around it, but. It's a lot, and for someone like me, like Joe just said, completionist, right? It becomes a sort of, for a lot of people, and there was definitely a point in my fandom where I was like this too, so I can speak from experience, where it definitely feels like you're watching wrestling just to say you watched it, as opposed to watching it to actually gain something from it. You just want to say that, oh yeah, if it comes up in a conversation, you'd be like, yeah, I watched it, it was good, but to have no real analysis or opinion outside of that. And I definitely think that hurts companies that aren't one of the big two, because with the big two inherently there's going to be analysis because they're doing episodic television and storylines. When it's a company like CMLL that's basically just, I'm not saying CMLL doesn't have stories or anything, but just they're more wrestling match centric than WWE.
It's a live event model, isn't it?
Exactly.
They run that
you're
building.
Just getting wrestling matches,
or both buildings.
And it's easier to sort of go, I've already seen these guys wrestle a bunch, why do I want to do it again, rather than just going in Google Sheets and going Blue Panther versus so-and-so 3 3/4, whatever, like I do, like a fucking mark. But, you know, it's just different now.
Yeah. I'll say this briefly because we're about to talk about TNA.
Let's go.
Someone is going to realize that the route to success in America, because CMLL are doing great, but
Yeah, they're fucking killing it.
in the US, the route to success is absolutely, undeniably, to completely break from the current format and model, and to go with major tentpole events. I think it's staggering. I understand everyone wants TV money, but I think this TNA AMC thing should be a lesson to people. You are more likely to get people's attention one night every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that's your model, you can do some very strange things in terms of payouts. You can run a very, very different business. And I think, I don't know, man. I think, when we look at TNA in a moment, and I want to be clear, a lot of this is their own fault, but I still think my point would have been valid regardless. I think TNA, even if it was booked well, maybe would have been a part of the wrestling calendar for people on Thursdays for like a month.
Yeah.
But when like Slammiversary comes around, even people that have no fucking interest in TNA go, oh, I guess I'll watch this match.
I'll throw it on.
Me too.
Right. Like, I think with where we're at in the US, with WWE and AEW's amount of TV and the quality of their TV, I think there's room for someone to gamble and go, okay, let's change let's do something completely different. Like, almost the Ring of Honor model of 25 years ago, not 25, but almost, getting there, but with a streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you could do a TV deal alongside that where you package like almost how they do it in Japan, where you have the highlights air at a certain spot just to have some TV exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. It'd be very cheap to produce, right? You could already run the event, so it'd just be a clip show. But I don't know. I just think there's value to that. Let's talk about TNA. None of us are going to claim to be experts on the stuff TNA produced this year. None of us watched it closely. I think it sounds utterly ridiculous to kind of make a story of the fact TNA have messed up, because that is TNA. But it has to be said, their 2026 has been
historic.
So they're so impressive in that regard. I don't know if it's historic, but I will say, if you'd have told me in January they'd have got to this point already, I'd have gone, fuck, that is good pace by their standards.
Yeah.
Buster, it's been astonishing, really. I mean, it's just every day there's a new headline. The PR is terrible. What have you made of it?
This is the first time since I've been following wrestling in the way I do that I've heard a promotion get so bad that I've been told that it's like documentary worthy. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, but even for TNA standards, it feels like, in the past we've heard like this might be it a couple times.
Yeah.
This feels like the closest.
This might be
it does feel that way, and look, there is an inherent appeal, and this is just the truth, and if you're watching this, you'll get what I mean. There is an inherent allure and appeal to, oh my god, are they actually finally going to go? And
yeah,
I said this on Hanging with Hope, but I want to stress it again. Once that day comes, we're all going to realize very soon after, like, that probably wasn't good, was it?
No.
Because there are guys need places to work, so
they do.
It feels like they're at death's door to me, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth. That's how I feel. I don't know that it's the truth in reality, right, Buster? But
yeah. I think there is so much like bad press around the name TNA.
It's just
that you just got to start over, man. Like, you just got to.
Well, that's the issue.
Yeah, just create something different. The roots are rotted. It's dead. It's over. You got it. Like, I don't know who starts up something new, but somebody has to.
Well, this is to your point. The belief is, and this has been debated, and we're not experts, but there is a belief that they are trying to sell the company. And the issue with that is to Buster's point, if someone is crazy enough to invest allegedly upwards of 10 million, because apparently they think it's worth a lot more than that, but let's just say 10 million into professional wrestling, surely someone involved in that process is going to put their hand up and go, why don't we just start our own promotion? They have like 4 guys under contracts. They don't even own the rings. What are we buying? And it's like, people go, well, they're buying the tape library. Listen, with respect, and there ain't that much value to that tape library, bro. You ain't paying $20 million to own Destination X fucking 2008. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of all out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's scary because if they're looking at a sale and they're talking about the numbers they're allegedly talking about, and there's a lot of stories out there, and you don't know what's true and what's not. There is a story out there of someone saying the number 10 and then being like, no way, it's actually 50 or 40. And it's like, what? They don't own the rings. They didn't even have the TV deal then either. So it's like, I don't know what that looks like. And again, I agree with you, but the reality is like, what they have with AMC, there's a belief online, like if they die, like they'll just give a deal to Fusion. It's like, no, they're not. They're not going to do that. Like, TNA had the WWE Association and 20 years of, for better or worse, some kind of name value. And that was the deal they got, and they've completely fucked it. I mean, it's just, it has less notoriety now than when they were on Access a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The issue is guys need places to go. You know? Like, it's, Uha Nation's a perfect example. Like, in an ideal world, him going to TNA gives us a feeling of, good, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And instead, most of the reaction I saw from friends was like, oh man, I wish Uha did something else. It's like, what? There's not that many options.
Yeah, you can't really do anything else. Like, and this is where, like, you know, we're interested in Japan.
Yeah.
But, you know, by all notion.
Yeah, there's never been less interest in the States.
Yeah. But also, like, the pay's not there.
Yeah.
The pay's
So, like,
definitely not there, yeah.
Yeah, so what motivation does a guy like Uha have to, you know,
you have to
go
be a
back to
freak like the
Dragon
Good
Gate.
Brothers, don't you? You got to be a lunatic like the Good Brothers. So they're going to do a 1 month tour
Yeah.
for the fun.
Got an 8.05 on Cage Match.
But like, legitimately, like, I'm biased, they're my guys, but it is funny, like, for all the talk about their bag getters, like, bro, they did a month tour of Pro Wrestling in 2026. Like, no one else is doing that shit because it's not, it ain't lucrative.
No, it's not at all.
You have
like,
to specifically have the thing of, like, I want to do Japan again. And I don't know how many people have that at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's there, really.
Which, fair.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I get it.
I just wish that wasn't the case.
It wasn't the
it would be great if, like, when a guy like Uha go out there, we're like, oh, bro, you could tear up with Miyahara.
Yeah, bro. Imagine fucking Uha with a moccasin.
Right, there you go. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
It's, you know, Donnie, one thing that really stood out to me with TNA was, you know, Mike Santana has been their guy, and he has publicly beat the drum and trumpeted, you know, we're doing this, I believe in TNA. He even had the whole speech of, like, the boys need to prioritize TNA, it's huge, it's important for the business. And it really felt telling to me. He left he didn't even do a TV write-off. He lost the belt, he's done. That's the end of it. It's over. And that felt indicative of where we're at right now. It does feel like they're going to go out with a whimper. Donnie, where do you stand broadly? I know you don't watch everything. They've had good, and I want to highlight, Cedric Alexander is doing really good work. Ali's been doing good work for the last year or two.
Nemeth.
But Nemeth, vibes-wise, though, Donnie, challenging.
Dude, that coinciding with Eric Young leaving, like, the week after. Like, Eric Young is as synonymous with TNA as any active wrestler can be. And he's just up and left. And we don't even know if he's going to wrestle again in there. He could just be a fucking coach or a producer or whatever. We don't know. But if that doesn't tell the story of TNA 2026, I mean, dude, when Mike Santana left AEW and he went back to TNA, it felt like a real, like, holy shit, this is a chance for him to reinvent himself, for him to put his stamp on a third promotion.
He did to an extent.
He did do that.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And he, listen, to his credit, or maybe depending on who you are, his detriment, he really took it seriously. He took being the top guy of TNA seriously, and that's respectable. And it's insane that his departure is as ho-hum as it is. It literally, everyone watched that Slammiversary main event and went, oh yeah, he's going to lose and he's leaving. And, like, there was no talk of, like, oh, how are they going to write him off? How are they going to do that? It's just like, no, he's going to lose to Nemeth and that's it. It's over. And lo and behold, he lost to Nemeth and that's it. It's over. He's going to show up on WWE at some point. And it's like, dude, I'm not saying they were going to sign him anyway because they weren't, but, like, Enzo Amore is not a TNA guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, this is where we are now. We're like lower level guys that you would think, like, oh, TNA will just get them because of, well,
he's going to be on SmackDown. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
it was definitely, to your point, it was definitely an eye opener with, like, with all love and respect to Sonya Deville. When she was, like, one of the big reveals on that premiere, it was definitely a, like, oh, wow,
yes.
this is.
And, like, Dude, and again, even like someone like all respect to Elena Black, like she was one of the big reveals, and they've done nothing with her. She's just another woman in maybe the most dry and barren iteration of the knockouts division that's ever existed. Like there was legitimately, and honestly, you could just say that for their whole roster. I mean, I think I can count on my two hands the amount of people that I would say are either A, notable, or B, good. Like, and that's again. People try very hard. Wrestling is very difficult. I don't claim that I can do it. For God's sake, I eat cookies every day. However, it is very, very, very indicative of the state of this company that legitimately, I think I can put together in my head about 4 different combinations of quote unquote good matches. And that's
I think in a different system, guys could offer more, you know?
Yes. We're just not in that system right now. The system are good though. The actual
I think there is... And this is not going to come to fruition, but I do want to, you know, stress this. It's a lot easier to fix than it feels.
Yes.
When it gets this bad in places, you always feel like, oh my God, there's no coming back. Like, dude, wrestling fans love wrestling.
Just reimagine it.
You know, if you did like 2 things for street cred, people would kind of go, maybe it's getting better. Like they wouldn't watch it.
No, but they would like, and
yeah.
here's the thing.
I don't want to stress that in terms of like, it doesn't have to be a death sentence. If it proves to be, it will be because they refuse to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's just, man, like you look at someone like Ali, who's had such a great year, but it feels like there's no upwards mobility for him. Like, what is he? He has the international title. He could maybe drop that at some point to Uha, which is cool.
I don't know why he's not the world champion.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I haven't understood that. I mean.
He hasn't even sniffed it, dude. Like, what the? I know he was injured last year, but even then, like, how many people are you really going to pass up Ali?
He was around most of last year. Yeah. He had all the Santana feud and stuff.
Yes.
He's probably their best talent.
I think so too.
He's also someone who, if you look at the world champions surrounding him, he is a great representative who's a sharp guy, and you could actually be like really proud of him as your world champion. You
and he
represent the company without making a fool of himself.
He's in that Santana boat of like he takes being a part of TNA really seriously.
He has to.
I mean, he works there, but I'm saying.
No, but I mean, I don't know. Like I'd say this with love, but I don't know if there's a lot of interest. Like he's perfect for TNA because I actually don't know how much interest there is outside of TNA.
Of course,
go all in with him. You know.
Yeah, and like, and here's one thing that they did well. They capitalized on the momentum of Ricky Sosa online. When Ricky Sosa was really over, they took advantage. They brought him over to the States for some bookings, and they signed them. Now, obviously, this one isn't really – there were some visa issues allegedly, and that's why he couldn't work till recently. But that was an example of there was at least an attempt there to do something, right?
Yeah.
And if you're TNA, that's what you need to do. You need to take advantage of younger guys who are capturing the minds and hearts of people and go, all right, we're going to make – this is going to be the destination for guys like that, right? And I saw they did an angle last night where – Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater are going to like team up to take on the system. Now, obviously, look, I don't know anything about Leon Slater's future. I don't know what he's doing. It feels a little late to book him in a main event angle with another young guy and present him as like a pillar of your promotion.
They're probably trying to give Sosa the rubs.
There's at least an idea there, right? And that's an example, Joe, where you were talking about where they have there can be ideas, there can be cool things, and they're far worse ideas than running Bronson and Myers against Sosa and Slater. Like that sounds cool.
I'm sure the show has like decent stuff on it most weeks. It's just it has a lot of bad stuff and there's no interest in it. That's the thing. Like it's just you have to grab people a little bit. They had a chance in January and they failed, and now we're in July. So you need to do something, don't you? Like you need to just and it ain't with respect. Like listen, I'm sure he's a great guy and I'm sure he can contribute on some level. I don't know him. The fucking headline is not like we're working on a deal with Road Dogg. Like whoever works there that thinks they need to keep leaking updates about their fucking extensive negotiations with LeBron, you know, Road Dogg James, like what is the process behind that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't have any more interest in watching the show because Road Dogg is backstage.
And they clearly think I am because like they're like blatantly making
they're like 90%. They're 90% along in negotiations. Like, why are we?
One last thing, because I'm not all the way out on like some people hate the thing with the WWE partnership. I think there's a lot of positives to it initially. If your partner, and we don't know if this is the case because there was a lot of talk it was Silver's choice. So I want to be clear. If your partner is against your 45-year-old veteran wrestler having a independent wrestling match with like the hottest guy in AEW, they ain't a good partner, bro.
Nope.
Yeah,
Like,
they're not.
it would have been huge for Nemeth to have that match.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need the street cred. The guy's a legend. So a lot of wrestling fans have a reverence for Nemeth because he was on their TV for a long time. And I think a lot of people online don't even realize how much wrestling fans like with that.
Yeah.
Like, they really like that guy.
Yeah.
However, if that became a match where people were like, oh, I wish we could see that match, because it wasn't even going to air, bro. It would have been a full-on folklore thing. It would have done a lot for it would have done a lot for his, like, just people were talking about him, you know? Like, and there'd been people filming it in the building and being like, oh, it was so fun. They went 25.
Yeah.
Dude, same with Slater and Ricochet.
Total unforced error that got them a bunch of negative PR. And not only that, actively stopped Nemeth's chance to remind people he's still
Bro, he's so
amazing physically. And people think he's like, he fucking sucks because his New Japan stuff wasn't great. He was never going to be a good fit in New Japan. It's Dolph Ziggler, for Christ's sakes. Like, he's the guys that he's actively like, he does their shit were not good in Japan. Like,
No. Like, him and Riddle were going to have a good match, and like, come on. Dude,
yeah,
you know?
but there was an opportunity there to do something that would have made wrestling fans in our bubble, which I'm sorry, but in your TNA, you're not too big to look past that bubble. You need our bubble. Would have gone, that's fucking cool, you know? And it meant a lot to the people involved, and they made a terrible mistake
It's
stopping
just
the
like-
match happening. And same for the Leon Ricochet match, by the way. Carry on, Buster.
When you're struggling to sell tickets the way they are, like doing literally anything to upset or just like take away wrestling from the fan.
Yes.
What's the
And-
fuck-
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly that.
They love
Exactly
that.
that.
And dude, with all respect, I love them dearly. They mean a lot to my fandom. Their most overact are the Hardys, who in 2020, look, again, incredibly popular. I get it. Physically, I mean, it's just, this
Right, but
cannot.
I mean, your goal.
But you can give the Hardys people to work with. Like, the
Well,
Grey
it's
Hands
just-
are good, and you can give
you
them
need
people
to-
to work around.
The goal was obvious. The challenge was simple. You had to figure out how to get like main event programs with the Hardys. And I like the Righteous, but they're not going to have a main event program.
No.
So
No.
that was the task, and I think they've failed the Hardys in that regard. And I think as a result of that, the impact and value of the Hardys is probably diminishing as we speak,
Yeah.
because they feuded with the Righteous for 7 months, and no one likes Big Bobby Dutch more than I do. But he's, they were like an enhancement act basically on AEW, and that doesn't mean you can't use them, but like they brought them in as like a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to help yourself for that stuff. But final thing I wanted to touch on.
The Hardys are going to reinvent themselves soon. That's what Matt said.
Oh wow.
So he wants to do a Matt Hardy character, which is like a regular guy, but he has broken instincts.
Instincts is great.
I have to watch the podcast to see John sell with that. But
Oh, man.
by the way, that's one of the best pods of like last year or whatever, when him and John had like a sincere debate about this style of Impact. And shout out to our guy John Alva. That's great. Great audio.
Great guy.
So, last thing I want to touch on before we get into it, please like this stream. We had a great time. We talked about so much different stuff. I'm going to put some timestamps in after, but
There's one thing I will bring up afterwards when you're done.
oh shit. Add into the
In
format.
case you don't touch on it, just in case.
Okay.
You probably won't.
The last thing I want to talk on very briefly, because none of us are watching closely, but I did want to note this. I have sensed a very slight increase in appetite and interest for indie wrestling.
Oh, this is
Very,
the thing.
very slight. Okay, that was the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Now, I don't know what's going to come of these Orange Crush shows. I don't really know anything about the operation. I found out what it was about 3 weeks ago when everyone in the chat kept asking if we were going to watch it, and I was like, what are these shows? I still don't really know. I have a rough idea. People watch the show on whatever day that was.
Monday.
And we're gonna talk about some next week on the show. But I do feel like there is a slight uptick in interest. Donnie, am I off base? Do we think wrestling fans are kind of going, I'd like to see a little bit more of the trendy, cool guy indie? Do we think there's some of that, or am I hoping?
Yeah. No. I think there's definitely been a bit of an uptick, and I think it's a mixture of a couple of things, at least for me. I think number one, the fatigue in the States is maybe as heavy as it's been this decade. And so I think there isn't an appetite for, let's just see what's out there. You know, you never really know what you find unless you look for it. But also too, I think what at least I've noticed, you know, we just talked about the Nemeth MJF match not happening. There has been an uptick in big names doing spotty independent dates. Like I think about Eddie Kingston, right? He had this big match in April with Charlie Evans, who has publicly been campaigning to wrestle Eddie Kingston for years. And I remember when that match was announced about a month in advance, it was seen as a really big deal. And not just by people that, you know, are big Charlie Evans fans or people that are big fans of I believe it's St. Louis Anarchy. If Jay Klein's in here, he can tell me, but I believe that's the promotion that took place in. There was an uptick in people that were like, holy shit, Eddie Kingston's working in Indy. Like, that's cool. Let's check that out. And hey, if that's the main event, let's stick around and let's watch the show. It's free on YouTube. Let's see what the show has to offer, right? And then you're exposed to someone like a One Called Manders or a Thomas Shire or a Mad Dog Conley or even like Timothy Thatcher, who people know and still is around. And so I think it's cool to see guys like Eddie still, and I believe he said this is his last year doing independent dates anyway, so that makes him more special, right? That he's going to Rev Pro and Wrestling Manders, or he's going to WXW one last time and things like that. And I think there's an interest in, well, if these names that we recognize on television are doing these dates, maybe this is something worth checking out. And I think the most recent example of that is Daniel Garcia, who all love and respect, he's not like a big name or anything, right? But he's still a notable name. People have been watching him on the television for a few years now. He just went back to West Coast Pro to wrestle LeBron Cazone, right? And that was a match that didn't air until, I believe, a week or two after the fact. And that was a show that, again, aired free on YouTube. And that was a show that on my timeline had a lot of conversation. People were watching the show. Our guy Tim Bosby wrestled on that show, had a great match. Johnny Robbie, who's somebody who's been getting a lot of conversation, wrestled Billy Starks on that show. And so I think because indie wrestling is becoming more accessible to people, because a lot of these places are just streaming for free on YouTube, it's becoming an opportunity for people to go, I don't really want to watch Raw tonight. I'll just check out whatever this indie's doing on YouTube. Right. There's at least a conversation to be had, and that's cool. That's different. To be clear,
we are talking like, we're not oblivious. We're talking niche of a niche of a niche. But
yes. It's not like widespread.
You know, let's be honest. This stuff was never exactly fucking mainstream, right? I mean, it was always like, it is what
you know.
Right. Buster, there is a little bit of this, right? There's a hint of it. We're a long way to go in terms of people being like, let's watch this show together as a family. Yeah. But there's a slight uptick in interest, I think.
I do think Donnie's point about it just being like so easily accessible is really important because, excuse me, I for sure, if I had to like find some links for these shows, I would just go, nah, fuck it. But because I know where it is, it's much more easy for me to just pop in and see what's going on. Because like putting in the effort, I'll be honest, putting in the effort to watch a show that there's a good chance there's maybe a match I'll like on there, to be totally honest.
It doesn't sound good or look good. Or,
I don't really want to do that.
And that's
so like it just being there ready for me to watch is really nice. And I hope I know more indie promotions have been doing that, and I hope it continues because there is something to be said for that. Like they can manufacture their own, like, audience. I don't want to say boom, but
I guess
they can.
Produce is a great example of that. Like sort of.
Well, the big X factor, I guess, is what is my AEW going to mean for the indie scene? Because I think there's a version of it that's really good, and there's a version of it that's pretty bad, to be honest. I do think there's always going to be a challenge to like it all being under that umbrella to an extreme. I would like to think everyone be left to do their own thing, but you do fear of like meddling and micromanaging. And people are like, dude, anytime it's like there's a big company, you should always be a little bit like, but there is a chance it's really positive. And I hope it is, because losing Triller TV, losing Triller full stop, and seemingly all that goes with that is really bad for the industry.
Yes.
And to be completely honest, no sane businessman would be like, I will open an independent wrestling streamer. Like, so it kind of had to be like one of the big two going, we'll have it, we'll host it.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, like, I think it's a positive. I just hope it does lead to more interest, and it isn't just like, people tuning in to see, like, as much as it's cool what you mentioned, Donnie, I hope it isn't just exclusive people watching to see who Dan Garcia's pinning on an indie
No,
show. You know what I'm saying?
no, yeah,
We'd love to.
of course. And there's also like a bit of it. This is gonna completely go against what you just said, but I do think it's worth mentioning that like some indies now are definitely there's a lot of novelty to it, and I think there's something to be said for the charm of that. Like this will pop people because it pops me. Steve Carino's doing an indie run right now.
There he goes.
Like,
there he goes, Buster.
I had to bring it up once.
The big man is back.
He wrestled C.W. Anderson on fucking Father's Day, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, shit.
Is that
like
stuff
that,
on
like,
YouTube?
No, but I have it. No, that's not true. So they have a YouTube channel. They don't.
Where does it stream?
It's on IWTV.
Oh, okay, cool. Shout out to IWTV. Because IWTV is still going, and like
But they
have friends
upload
there, so
they upload matches from shows. So they never upload the full shows. They just upload the matches one by one. But like, there's something to be said for the indies, at least now more than it has maybe this decade. There's more variety in each. You could kind of blend together a lot of the independent scene a few years ago. It at least feels like.
Do you mean promotion to promotion? You mean?
Yeah. Like you can kind of blend together the sort of styles and identities of them. It at least feels like there's an attempt from promotion to promotion to distance themselves from each other and to create something that if a small niche like we're talking about is only going to watch one, like this is their audience and they're going to cater to that, which is cool. There's at least something to that. They're trying, which is nice.
Folks, we have a couple of things to get to in the chat. Again, please like the stream if you haven't already. This program was a reset, a big picture conversation.
Oh,
Tim.
bro. Tim, I'm telling you now, bro, do not fucking lose to Carl in August, bro. If I'm there and you lose, I'm going to be very mad. I'm going to ask you for a refund personally if you lose.
This show has been a big picture reset because this style is going to become a lot more commonplace on the Grin. Now, not big picture, right? But next week's show was originally planned to be actual wrestling talk 5 or 6, wherever we're at on that regard. And it isn't going to be that entire, or it isn't going to be that in branding, but it is going to be that in format and in concept, because the way we're going to do this moving forward is there will still be special shows. There will still be, for example, in 2 weeks, there will still be a Money in the Bank 2011 Grin Along as the flagship. We'll still do shows like a list show in August for Rampage, stuff like that. But we are going to be building and working on a new kind of baseline Grin, like a new... Rather than every week being, what's the format on Friday? What's the plan for Friday? What's the concept? We want those shows to be special. And so we want to build a kind of regularity, a consistency with most weeks on the Grim, we're just going to talk about wrestling and the week that's been and the last 2 weeks been. So, for example, next Friday's show, we'll be talking about a couple matches from WWE TV, I'm sure. Obviously, we're going to talk about the title match with Kenny and Max, right? Maybe some other stuff from AEW. But we're also going to use that opportunity, the way we did tonight, to then dedicate some time to some other stuff. So, for example, the Gresham Produce Show, we'll have a segment on next week's show because I'm going to catch up on that and watch some of that. When stuff is notable in Japan or Mexico, or dare I say, Great Britain, God forbid, we will give it a segment on the show. So... if, for example, there's 2 weeks of specials, when we come back the week after that, our goal would be to catch up on the stuff we missed in that time. Rather than doing actual wrestling talk once a quarter and trying to see one thing from each promotion, over the last 3 months, more consistent conversation. I don't like the word coverage because we don't really do coverage, but you get my point. Like,
just talking. We're just going to talk.
Yeah, I just think there's a way to kind of... meet people in the middle on, like, we understand what the big topics are, and like, look at tonight's show, we did an hour and 10 or whatever on like the big 2 in the US, but I think we can also pair that with, okay, who did Bosby wrestle, what's happening in All Japan, and like have a little bit of the best of both worlds. And the way we do that is when we do it, we're going to rotate the lineup. So sometimes it'll be this trio, but sometimes if things are more suited to a Khalid, maybe he can come in, or Wheezy we talked about earlier, or Novi, Caden, whoever. Like, that's kind of the game plan. Hell, if Alex goes to Dynamite, maybe he'll be on the show that Friday and we'll talk about his experience at Dynamite. I think we have, a year and change ago, we went so heavy on concepts because we needed to, because we were burnt. But I think now we need to go a little bit back to our roots and just do... Sometimes the late night Grin is just what happened in wrestling lately, and let's chat about it. So,
wrestling conversational content.
Yeah.
Bro, that was our thing, that was our gimmick, and we stopped doing it. So that's the plan. So next Friday we'll be in the same time slot, 10:05 Eastern, and we're going to talk about the week of wrestling and, you know, some bonus stuff like that produce show and whatever else comes up along the way. And we'll lock in the lineup, you know, over the next few days. But that is the plan here moving forward. See, Tim, he doesn't realize the kind of guy he's dealing with. There is absolutely a chance that JBL does say it again in OVW, and I go, guys,
Yeah,
when you
bro.
look at it.
Okay.
Bro, JBL has a match, bro.
I'm open to any bullshit, dude. Like, I'm open-minded with this stuff. Hudson at Superjan said, who's the funniest wrestler that we could see do the big white ball for their free agency
That
like
was
Rich
God,
Paul
Lord.
had for Braun earlier one? That was insane.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, he did do the list, right?
Yeah, he did the list. So he goes like WWE, AW,
Jericho
NWA.
2025 was probably the closest we got someone actually doing this, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
having Barry Bloom do it. Yeah, that's the
Jericho,
play.
Cody. Randy Orton.
LeBron's gonna drag this shit out for so long, dude.
Bro, he's
Oh my
he's
God.
going to the Cavs, bro. I've convinced myself. Did you see the new report now that apparently the Timberwolves are heightening their pursuit? They believe they're in play. I'm like, LeBron does not want to play in fucking Minnesota, bro. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Fascinating.
Weird.
But what a bizarre situation. Our guy, LVJ, has been a member for 22 months. What a veteran of the Grin. What a guy.
Yeah.
Good evening, Grinners. What are you fellas doing for American Independence Day tomorrow? Joe, your plans first. Well, I'm glad you asked, LVJ. I am live for all members at 6:05 Eastern. Bust, I know you've heard about who I've got for this yet. I am watching MLW Fusion on July 4th with Dukes, who has agreed to join me for this. We will be live for all members. Machine Gun Carl Anderson battling Donovan Dijak at center stage. As Teddy Long returns to center stage. Festus is in action. Like,
My God.
actually Festus.
Wow.
I believe the big LG tweeted earlier, Festus returns for July 4th.
I might join
That's
up for that.
proper.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll party, dude. July 4th, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at some hot dogs.
Yeah, some fireworks, set 'em off in your office, you know. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Buster, what are your plans? I guess they're the same.
Yeah, I might join you after that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll update you tomorrow. If not, probably just be playing some video games, bro.
Yeah, there you go. Fair enough. Donnie, any plans? I know you're very patriotic.
Yeah, I'll be at work, try to make some money, and then I will come home and watch the third Jackass movie.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Thank you, LVJ. You're the best. We're going to have LVJ back on soon. Going to try and get him on Hanging with Holbert on Self-Made to get some new eyeballs, but if not, I think it's time for him to sit under the learning tree of Coach Holbert. Yellow legal pads and such. Bob is not doing a barbecue this year, sadly. Our friend, the great John Burr, said, please give us old heads some evergreen content as well. You're scaring my grey-templed arse. Love your PS. LeBron is a soulless Billy Checkmate. So, I do want to stress, John. Grin Grapple will be untouched. There will still be, like, multiple shows that are timeless, evergreen, as you put it. I definitely think, like, one of the big things this summer especially is we're leaning towards, like, modern history, which probably isn't going to be as interesting to you. But I am hoping when we get this kind of new baseline format for the Grin Down, I am hoping to work in retro segments. Like, you know, with Extra Wrestling Talk, we would occasionally do an old school match that was on its anniversary.
Yeah.
Yes, or like an angle. Like
Alright.
we did the Horseman angle.
Yeah, I think on quiet weeks we're going to do that. So I think there'll still be room for that. Obviously, Grin Grapple will be unchanged. And I'm also like the one I really enjoyed we did last month was the junior heavyweight special. I think that we're going to run that back at some point, that lineup with different topics. So there will still be stuff of that ilk, John. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know if the Oracle of Wrestling's ever locking back in on the modern stuff the way he was previously. So
Yeah,
he may have some stuff to do in terms of that too. So we have some stuff we're working on, Donnie. Right? You and Oracle, I know I've got something you're kind of hoping to do soon, right?
Yeah. Once he comes back from his little vacation, we're gonna work this out.
There'll be a variety show. You know,
We got power
it's just
play.
I do think with we needed like a new norm. I think like every show was so different from the last because every show is a standalone concept, and it both exhausted me creatively, but also I think kind of like frazzled the audience. So that's the game plan moving forward. But there is a lot of modern history coming up, John, that I think's right up your alley. Like I think he's gonna love the 2016 redraft. That's right. He loves that kind of stuff.
Fun.
That actually was fun, yeah. But I don't know. John, I think is gonna love that. I think John's favorite video is gonna be the Alexa and Bailey ones.
Oh yeah.
Right up his alley.
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff that when I make it, I go, John Burr is gonna fucking love this. You know what I mean? I was looking at the Bailey graphics and I was just thinking, man, that's going to be a great, great thing. He's going to just adore it. But nonetheless, there'll be something for everyone. That's always our game plan around these parts. And stay tuned for the BritRes weekly update show of Oracle and John. And we hope you've all enjoyed this. Like the stream if you haven't already. Buster, you have a gaming channel.
I do. I say it every time. Next couple weeks, you're going to be fucked. So I may not be uploading for like a month. However, I am 17 subscribers away from 700. Please. God, please.
Buster, you were on a podcast today, by the way, that came out, right?
I was also on a podcast. I was on a podcast with It's Noviak talking about video game movies. I'll put a link to that in the chat. Please go check it out. Me, Novi, and Julianne, please.
Are you happy with how he kind of pigeonholed you with that? The video game guy, you know? Like, can you just talk about movies? Why can you talk about Paris, Texas?
Yeah. And what sucks is
bro.
like he said we can do this again next time. We'll talk about the Street Fighter movie, and I went, what the fuck, bro? I like westerns too.
Yeah.
Tombstone, great movie.
And also on the retro front, we didn't know. I've started working on the format, dude. Our trip to 1993, the Japanese summer of '93, is going to be incredible.
Let's
It's
go.
going to be so fun. There's so much great stuff. So we're doing July, August, September, right? You got weird shit like Jake Roberts and Hogan in New Japan. Because this is the time when Hogan does the like... it's actually just after the stuff we're watching, but this is like the season where he does the WWF title don't matter.
Yeah.
But obviously there's also just crazy stuff going on. We're going to get a lot of Muto, which is right up your alley. There's some Joshi standouts. Obviously in All Japan... The Hansen Kobashi match from July 29th is like an all-time classic. So it's gonna be totally different format. It's gonna be very much like just match comp because I think it covers the most widest scope of Japan that way, right? So very excited for that. I'll probably start in a couple of weeks. I need to make sure the format's all locked in and we have links and stuff. That'll be very, very exciting. Donnie?
Yeah, Kale, 2013 loss, bro. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, you don't watch wrestling past 2000.
We're old school, bro. There's actually going to be some Joshi in there, so Cal really has nothing to complain about, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Donald?
Yeah.
Vlogs.
Beach break next Wednesday. We'll be live for that. Caden will actually be there. So single file if you want to touch the center part, or just tell him that he's a bad host, whatever you want to do. Donnie's Domain next Thursday. There's a package sitting on my bed from our beloved Bombs who sent me a Steve Austin shirt that she, quote, said is so bad that they never released it again. I don't know what it is. I haven't opened it. It's just sitting right there. I will wear that next Thursday. Nah, because the lighting sucks and she's not here, so it would be. I don't want to be. She's the one that sent it to me. Power Play returns July 12th. Myself, Loss, and the big man Joe Holbert. We watch Randy Savage in Memphis. Can he get any crazier? He probably can. July 17th. Money.
Bombs is here. Open it now.
Turn the light on and open it now.
All right, fuck.
No, see, that was very, very like he just assumed Bombs wasn't here. Like
I didn't know. That's my
Bombs,
bad.
one of our most loyal grinners, you know.
Bombs is the best. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah. This fucking guy, Buster.
Trying to get out of it, bro.
Yeah. Doesn't want to be screen cap with a Steve Austin shirt.
Why don't you send me anything, Bombs? What the fuck?
What are you talking about? I just
Sent it to you twice this week.
I'm gonna open it now. Do you get?
I'm telling you, Buster, when the Mike Olsen figure's on sale. You have the Mike Olsen figure though,
I
right?
do. It's right there.
Yeah. That's the other problem with you. You buy the figures, so I can't give you special gifts.
There's some figures I don't buy. I haven't bought the Tanaka one yet.
Yeah, but if I came to you and said, "Have you got the Masato Tanaka figure?" It would be a pretty big clue. I knew confidently Donnie didn't have the Ethan Page figure that I said.
Dude, legitimately, I spent the whole week thinking, like, is he just gonna send me like a Lily doll for no reason?
It's a good gift, dude.
It was a great gift. Oh my god, here it is. Hold on.
What the hell's that about, Kale?
Okay.
Delete Brainbuster.
Is this
Off
lighting?
of, like-
Can you guys see me right now?
Okay, so Bomb said,
yeah.
context, Bomb said a client got me this shirt and thought I'd
Yes.
actually wear it, by the way. Okay.
Yes. She told me that it was better than rotting away in her clothing rack. So she told me earlier.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Jesus fucking. So, first of all, the shirt says the hard way.
Oh, wow.
And then it
Oh,
reads,
excuse me.
and I quote, Vince, if I gave a shit, you'd be the first one I give it to. Signed Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wow.
This is the fucking.
That's unbelievable.
This is so fucking bad.
What the hell,
What
bro?
the fuck
He
is
doesn't even
happening?
have any of his, like...
No. Vince, if I gave a shit.
The front of
you'd
the
be
shirt
first
you
one.
wouldn't know was an Austin shirt, right?
No,
Surely?
it
No,
just
you wouldn't.
look. It just says his name right there, like, so, but you wouldn't like. It's just text, and then it says the hard way.
Is it like the WWF logo underneath?
Yes, it does. It has.
Show me
the
that
WWF
again. Come on, look at the logo.
Has he ever said those words, Vince? If I gave a shit, you'd be the first one I give it to. Has he ever said that?
Probably.
Put it on. All right, hold on, kid.
In the meantime, I'm going to pull up this shirt that I saw while I was at Walmart, and it made me really mad.
Oh, okay.
I'm converting it to a JPEG file as we speak.
Boom
Look at
said
this
someone is
shit.
trying to sell one for $200 on some vintage site.
Oh my
Wow.
god. Yeah,
Oh
Is
my-
that the right? Is that the front or is that the back?
Hold on. No, this is the front. So the
Oh,
back,
wow.
so the back literally just says the
hard
hard,
way.
way. Chad, what screen
What does he
cap
mean
do you
by
want?
that?
Do you want me to just like stand up and point to my back saying the,
The
hard
hard way. Isn't that what the James Woods flick's called? Isn't it?
The
No
hard
idea.
way. My way or like there you go. I don't even know.
My
if you
way
read-
or the hard way?
Then there's this, bro. Look at that, just right there. The hard.
Oh,
way.
The
yeah.
hard way. That's it. Yeah. You've made it
Bob's,
reversible.
this is very nice.
Reversible.
Thank you. I will be wearing this on multiple shows. This has popped me tremendously.
Okay, look
There
at
you
this
go.
shirt. I saw this at Walmart.
I'm
It's a Raw as War shirt, but it has Batista on it.
Whoa. Okay, there's so many issues here.
Yeah.
That's
not Sean and Hunter.
Yeah.
2006 Sean and Hunter.
Yep. Correct.
Glenn looks good though.
Taker
Also,
looks,
Taker's like 93 Taker.
Taker looks very white in that photo.
Well, Dave never appeared on anything even close to that era,
He
right?
didn't.
Like,
It was like
No, the only war was Hunter's Reign of Terror. That was a war on
Oh, wow.
on mental sanity. Not
it
mine.
was
It
like
was a
7 years after. 5 around there. Something
Oh.
like that.
dude, how interesting is the era of Raw where it's like, it's where they have the different set and it's 2002 and it's like a middle ground of eras. Like Austin's
Yeah.
still on it, Hogan's there,
Yeah.
Flair is
And
on
they
it.
It's like the stage with the where it, like it actually says like Raw as War, like the flags on the sides.
That one, but you know the one they go to after that, where it's on Spike.
With like the weird metal one,
Mm.
like the metal Tron.
There's one
I
where
like that stage.
I do too, but I mentioned recently, like the main event of the show was Flair and Austin, and then they do an angle with like Eddie and Benoit, and you're just watching it like,
Is that the one where Austin can't throw a punch?
yeah, no punches.
That's a
allowed,
good
yeah.
match.
It is good.
Dude, what
Hogan and
actually
Flair
fucking-
wrestle on O2 Raw. It's very strange.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did Steven
Recently,
Brock
the
work?
Vault uploaded. I think it was Brock and Rick, and I was like,
yeah. That's the one
might
where
have to give that a watch.
Austin doesn't want to do the job, so they have
took
Flair
his
there.
ball and went home.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. I just can't believe that this is somehow worse than. Did you guys see the new Austin 316 shirt they released?
I didn't know that.
No,
Buster, go look it up and
I'll
play us
find
for
it.
real. You have to see this. This is somehow worse. Actually, no. That one is worse because that one defames one of the greatest wrestling T-shirts of all time. This one is just a shitty shirt on its own that I will now wear proud, not in public, but I will wear this proudly around my house. To which, where my dad will then ask me, "What the fuck are you wearing?"
I always love
Yes.
the
which
Austin
one are we
bit
talking
where-
about?
It's the one. It has like red lettering on it. It's an Austin 316 shirt. It's new. It has like red lettering on it. You'll see it.
Like the blood one?
Yes. Do you see
Okay.
it? It. Hold on. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
always like the Austin clip where he goes, DTA, don't trust nobody.
It's the one with it has Buster on the back. It has like war text on the back too.
Is this Bloodstone?
Um,
I was
Here,
gonna say,
Donnie,
I'll
find the
s-
photo
Blood
on
from
the
a
screen.
stone
'cause
is what I meant.
we have to we have to now give Phil a conclusion on this. Donnie, find
Okay.
the photo.
Yeah.
put it on
I
the
said,
screen.
Buster, I'm linking it to you on Twitter.
Oh, I think I know what you. I think I see
In-
it.
Do you
but
see
I
it?
will
Do you see
I'll go
it?
check my Twitter. Send it to me on
But yeah,
Twitter.
I just did.
In the
Look at that.
meantime, it's going to be our main event, whatever the fuck this shirt is. We can put this on the screen. That'd be great. Because otherwise, we just spent 5 minutes trying to find a shirt that people are never going to see.
Go
And
look at this
our
shit.
criteria was Austin 316 shirt, which isn't going to help anyone's pursuit.
Yeah.
Did you get
Donnie, I'm not getting the message. Please, God.
what the fuck? All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Look
Put
up.
it, upload
Austin-
it, Donald. Donald, you're
Okay.
logged in. Upload the thing.
All right. I can do that. Shit.
This guy's
Jesus.
he's in the stream yard. Why is he doing this to me?
Is it the says I just whipped your ass one?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
fucking King of the Ring one.
It's-
I just sent it. It just loaded now. Shit, I always forget I have
They
access.
only
to these
use AVIF files that I have to convert to JPEG. Fucking hell.
I wrapped the show 20 minutes ago.
No, this is serious, bro. People have to see this shirt.
If this is a good shirt, I'm gonna be frustrated.
not.
I have to
I can
say.
assure
okay.
you it's not.
Okay.
Are you uploading, Buster, or am I uploading
Yes,
it?
I
'Cause
got it, I got it,
Okay,
I got it.
thank God.
John Burr super chat. There was one where Austin is making his turnbuckle pose, but his arms are cobras, and it says 100% pure rattlesnake. And
actually
I
want
wore
that
it to
one.
prom.
I want that one. I've seen that shirt.
This is. Look at the shirt, Joe. Look at the
Okay,
shirt.
that sucks. That does suck. Yeah,
and
that's
then on the back, it just
unnecessary.
says, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
That does suck. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
bottom line is underlined with a bottom line.
It's fucking
Wow.
This company
Anyways.
sucks. Anyway, Pops, thank you for the shirt. Did I? I don't even know. Did I? I don't even know if I have any.
Yeah. That's good.
Actual wrestling talk next week. I think I'm on that too. I don't fucking know anymore. That was like 25 minutes ago now.
We don't know the lineup yet. I didn't even click on that. That's awesome. Though. I didn't
Oh,
even-
that's
yeah,
great.
we're
I don't
we
know what's happening anymore.
We don't know who's on it. We don't know what it's called.
We don't know anything.
We just want you to know.
It's happening.
If you see next week on a Friday, it's just titled The Late Night Grin 221. Don't be scared. Don't be worried. Just trust us. We're going to talk about wrestling. That's the message tonight.
Not shirts anymore. Enough shirts.
We're just going to talk about wrestling.
Some shirts too, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They're
But-
bad.
Tonight was us basically saying to you guys,
We're bad.
we still like it. We still watch it. And we are going to talk about it. That's the message from tonight's show. All right. Like the stream, all that good stuff. Have a
Comment.
great Friday night. Yes, what should people comment, Donnie?
What promotion have you been most into this year?
Actual good comment prompt. Okay. What promotion most into this year? If you don't comment that, I will take it as a direct indication that Donnie has lost his connection with the audience, like Zack Ryder when he dropped the US strap.
Oh, this
to
is.
Swagger.
You
Please
see
comment.
My life
He's-
is on the line.
He's
here,
pushed
guys. I need
depends
the
on
money.
it.
It does.
Have
I need the
a
money.
great Friday night and a wonderful weekend. If you're a member, I'll see you for MLW Fusion. Keep grinning. Oh, hell. Enjoy this outro. Goodbye.